we go. Slams through the gears and throws it in.
This could end in a very big accident right now. And they're into the wall. Goal!
I'm taking a breath. I advise you all at home to do the same. Oh, last 2 runs of the night. He's going to take it to the podium, but will he take the win? Look at this.
Hello and welcome to the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. My name is Dave Egan. I'm joined by my colleague, as always, in the real world and the virtual world, Ian Waddington. We're back for another season after a sensational first season where Reece Tatterson took the win, managed to go all the way with you, Ian, to Poland, to jump behind the wheel of Peter Wieńczyk's real world 1,000 horsepower Drift Masters machine, and he was pretty damn good. This time, the stakes are even bigger, as one driver will actually get to compete. I'm going to say this out loud because it still sounds ridiculous to me. They will start in the virtual world in this competition, and at the end, they will compete in the real Drift Masters Championship later this year. Ian, we had a lot of fun with this last year. We're back again. So pumped to be back, even commentating on drifting again. But the virtual world, it's always exciting. It's always unpredictable, and we've got a lot of new drivers that are looking to put their name on the trophy this year.
Dave, it's an honour to be back. And yeah, like you say, last year was incredible, seriously exciting. Some new names involved and came through. And Reece Tatterson, like you say, took the win. I took him to Poland and he drove that 1,000 horsepower S15. And to be honest, Dave, what a job he did. Unbelievable. In just one lap, he was smashing it, changing gears, big transitions, chased Peter around the track. And like you say, we've upped the ante once again. They get to actually go do battle this time at Drift Masters,
Which is an incredible opportunity. I mean, this is an opportunity that doesn't come across on any virtual championship or any championship in the world. It's a first of its kind. What have we got ahead of you guys? Well, we've got 100 drivers entered this championship. Qualifying takes place earlier today. Out of those 100 drivers, 32 drivers will make it to battle action, which is where we're picking it up now. Judges said the driving was coming thick and fast. It was very hard to separate all those drivers. But we have got 32 drivers ready to do battle. And where are they doing battle, Ian? Well, they're doing battle on an aircraft carrier because don't have geographical limitations in the virtual world, while the cars and the setups are very realistic and, to be honest, almost as close to real life as you can get. The locations can be a little bit more creative, and that's exactly what we have for you guys tonight. A very special course, lots of walls, lots of transitions, all the things me and Ian love to get excited about. And the good thing is, if someone crashes into the wall, it's not going to cost them as much as it does in the real world, so they're going to be pushing pretty hard, Ian.
Yeah, they certainly are, Dave. And yeah, we kick off round one where we finished up our 2021 championship on our aircraft carrier. As you can see, slight little, some changes, a little bit of twist to the track this time, but pretty much exactly how it was last time. Nice fast entry into clip 1 on that wall, full throttle all the way around into clip 2, through to clip 3, bringing the front end of that car into the apex of that turn. Nice transition all the way across the circuit into outside zone 4, through onto the wall. And this, the tricky part, the judges told me, this transition before they get into outside zone clip 5 is the hard one, Dave. Big angle to angle. This is where it could all go wrong before they go full throttle all the way through and across the finish line. The deal is done, but could they be the winner of round one?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, to be honest, a lot of these guys are coming in here as relative unknowns. They might be quite well known in the virtual drift world, but they're now stepping up to a live production here, which means that they might not have had to deal with the nerves. They might not have had to deal with the pressure until now. And the great thing about this is that, unlike the real world where you get a limited number of practice runs before you go into those battles, these guys could have put in thousands of runs during the week. We expect the action to be very exciting, big angle, running the wall, close transitions. And the other thing is, we speak about it every year, how do you restrain that aggression? Because there's not a huge financial price to getting your car stuck into the door of another car, but there is a big judging price if you get knocked out or you hit that lead car. And of course, it runs exactly the same as the real Drift Masters Championship. Each driver takes a turn at lead and chase. After the 2 runs, we're going to have a majority vote from our judges to see who goes through to the next stage of competition. It may seem straightforward right now, but I can guarantee you by the end of this competition tonight, you're going to see some crazy stuff. We got some big angle going in practice. I love the fact that the guys can just push the limits, maybe a little bit more than the real world. I think we're going to expect some of these guys maybe to push that a little bit too far and knock themselves out of competition. Ian, I'm excited. You're excited. I'm looking forward to kicking off the action. And I want to give a big thank you to our title sponsors here, LIQUI.EU. Now, it makes sense. LIQUI.EU offer electronic devices for controlling the ECU in your car and all those computer systems. Why not get involved with the most computerized thing in drifting, which is the virtual championship. We'll talk about their products a little bit later on in the program. But Ian, I'm excited. I'm just ready to see these guys go head to head. And we've got a couple of big stars in there as well. Alan Hines and a couple of other guys that have been big stars in the real world, the Irish and UK championships. They're going to be putting a cat amongst the pigeons there as well, trying to get themselves back into that European championship.
They certainly will be. And Rhys Tatterson, well, look, he's one-time winner. Can he do the double? It was the question that was asked by Peter. Will we see him back again at the end of this year? Taking a seat in that car. Who knows? Like I say, there's a whole host of new drivers. I'm excited to get back to it, Dave. It's been a long 12 months before seen some virtual drifting. As you can see, the track looks live. It looks like we're ready to go, Dave.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what we call scenes, and this is what we call goals. You're on an aircraft carrier. There's, smoke coming up in the air. To an S15, it's going to cost you a couple of clicks to the keypad rather than $100,000. So that makes it a little bit easier, right, Ian?
It does, Dave. Yeah, we've seen some incredible builds before and things that we've never thought were possible. These guys make it happen in the virtual world, and I don't know about you, Dave, but it gives me that kind of idea that anything is possible right now.
Absolutely, we're going to see some crazy liveries. We're going to see some crazy setups. We're going to see some crazy driving. These guys are going to be going head to head. As you guys can see, there's a lot of new blood here this year, which I quite like. But I like to see how the likes of Alan Hines and Rhys Tatterson and these guys who are so influential in the first season, how they're going to fare out here. I think looking at favourites, we've got to go to Rhys there. He's won the first championship. He was closely chased in by Alan Hines. Alan Hines will be certainly looking for revenge, where he put in more simulator hours than anyone I've known in this game. But then a lot of these guys have been spending that last year since they saw the first championship, putting in the hours to make sure that they can get themselves now the real thing. Imagine starting on your computer in your bedroom, standing in front of a live crowd at the final round of the Drift Masters European Championship. Does it get any better than that, Ian?
I don't think it does, Dave. I think the prize that we gave Rhys Tatterson for winning the first ever championship was mind-blowing enough, but to come back and say, how can we up the ante? But I tell you what we'll do, we'll throw him in the ring with the actual Drift Masters crew and the competitors, and see how they do in the real world. We know it's possible to get that transition from sim drifting to real life drifting. We've seen it with Rhys, but can we do it in competition? Well, this year we'll find out how far sim drifting can push a driver.
Absolutely, and what I'm really interested to find out is that, that story of starting in your bedroom on your own, working through your skills, and at the end you could be looking left and right with James Dean and Adam Zalewski in a real event. That is dream world stuff. Well, we're warming up the cars. We're ready to head towards our first battle very, very soon, as you can see. No safety regards for the men with sticks this year again, Ian. They seem to be getting a raw deal every year. Drive for them.
Yeah, those guys are. They take a beating every single event, and as you can see, no one on the start line just yet. We are almost ready to kick it off with, like you say, Dave.
Stuff, Formula Drift stuff, it all comes together here in the Drift Masters Virtual Championship. Our first two drivers are ready to go. We're kicking it off with last year's winner, Rhys Tatterson. He will be in the lead position, and he is going to be in the chase position rather, and it's Zach O'Sullivan in the lead. So these guys are going to come out and set the pace very early on. Could we see a big upset right from the off? Oh, sorry, it was a little mistake. So Rhys Tatterson, why? I was just thinking it was one of the top two qualifiers there, but it's actually going to be Kreiser from Brazil taking on O'Sullivan from the USA. O'Sullivan was in last year. He did pretty good too. He was, jumping around near the podium positions. He's looking to build on that. He's in a big old Toyota Supra this year, getting chased in by Kreiser from Brazil in that, if I'm not mistaken, S15. So there's your first two drivers. You can see Kreiser taking a little bit of a run up here as the lights go out. We will see these guys head into that first corner, and Ian, we're going to get a good look at the course through the eyes of O'Sullivan.
Here we go. Yeah, Sullivan to lead them in. Nice initiation on the handbrake there for quite a long time. See him get 90 degrees of back end that super on the wall. But look at the chase from Kreiser. I know there is a huge Brazilian following on virtual drifting. Look at the dive through the door, tagging the front wheel. Still works the same in the virtual world as it does in the real world. Contact on the front wheel. If it upsets the lead car, you will be heavily penalised. But look at that wheel to wheel. Kreiser absolutely putting the pressure on O'Sullivan.
Yeah, great chase run. And, you know, you look at the qualifying scores, they were all pretty high, even though these two guys were, you know, first position for O'Sullivan and 32nd position for Kreiser. 32nd position was still a very high score. As you can see, right from the off, putting the course a little bit, Kreiser trying to stay on the door, but I like this. Comes in, a little bump there on the front wheel, and it might have pushed O'Sullivan a little bit wide. But he holds it together, gets the job done as they take it across that giant LIQUI logo and over the finish line. I like that run. O'Sullivan giving Kreiser everything to work with there, Ian. And I think, from my perspective, not putting a foot wrong. Now, can O'Sullivan proved it in the lead position that he's good? He's proved it by topping qualifying. Can he prove it by being a good chase driver? Well, he's got to get right up close and personal here, but not too close.
Yeah, needs to go for the kill, Dave, but not push too hard. Off the gate, hop through that chicane. You can see Kreiser not messing around. Nice initiation on that handbrake, although for quite a long time slowing that car down. A little bit of separation. Sullivan not taking a risk just yet. Both put the noses right on that inside clipping point. Nice transition back up onto the wall, full throttle now. Sullivan starts to make the dive, looks for the back bumper, and S15 comes through into that final turn, looks for the wheel on the foot brake, making sure he doesn't make any contact. Precise driving. Back goes Sullivan.
You know, it's an interesting one. I think, from my perspective, it looked like Kreiser had better proximity in his chase run. Sullivan taking a little bit of time to get into the mix, sacrificing some zone to the early part of the course. You said didn't really just pull the trigger and attack. However, Kreiser was in that chase position, did a better proximity, but he made contact and he made some errors. It's going to be interesting to see which way the judges go on this. Will it be the perfection of O'Sullivan or the aggression of Kreiser that's going to be rewarded here? That's going to tell O'Sullivan his indicators are on. No idea.
Yeah.
Let's see which way it goes.
And
it is going to be O'Sullivan getting the win and going through to our top 16, bowing out at top 32 stage for Kreiser. To be honest, a very valiant effort, and he did absolutely everything he could. He just came up against a very on-form Zach O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he certainly did. So there we go. We move things along, Dave, to the next pair of battles.
It is indeed all the way from Saudi Arabia. It's Al-Shatshui taking on Mustard. Let's hope he can catch up in the chase position later on. Have to get it out there straight away.
Wow.
Yep. Starting the year off right. So this is going to be the UK versus Saudi, which is something we don't often see in the drift world, but what the beauty of the online world is. This is going to be for another spot on the top 16. Shatshui, for me, look, he's got that nice. These guys are very similar chassis here, so we're not going to see a whole lot of difference in terms of style, difference in terms of power or grip. This is going to be a straight up one-on-one shot. Who can do the better chase and lead run? You know what? I think Zach O'Sullivan showed us that perfect lead run, very possible from the off. See if Mustard can do the same.
Yes, there we go. Look at that. Al-Shatshui, though, straight through that start line, hungry to not lose. Cameron Mustard through that first clipping point, nice onto the wall. A little bit of holding back, though, from Al-Shatshui as he now starts to find the door at S15. Very tidy job. Cameron Mustard looks for a big transition onto the wall, but a big dive from Al-Shatshui as they look in the clipping point 5 on that outside zone. Almost makes contact, has to shell up the angle, slow that car down on the foot brake. Door to door across the line, though. Incredible job from both drivers. I'm
looking at the quality of driving here, Ian. It's off the scale from the off. Shatshui with a shallower initiation, staying on the inside of the track, but it did allow him to get right up onto the door very, very quickly. That lead run, as you said, from Cameron Mustard, looking exceptional. Late transition here, and Al-Shatshui does well to deal with it, but watch this. Comes really, really close. Does he make contact? Just gets away with it. That transition there for me from the Saudi Arabian driver was exceptional. Maybe touched a little bit, but at that point of the track, I don't think it affected the lead car too much. Judges are going to have their work cut out for them tonight.
Yeah, they certainly are. So back on the line they go. Cameron Mustard chased down Al-Shatshui. Saudi Arabia holding on to this one. Can Cameron Mustard take the win? Look at that, all edging across the line, eager to get that proximity as they fired down, smoking wheels all the way up to initiation. Nice initiation from Al-Shatshui. Cameron Mustard, though, holding off shallow on the outside zone. Looks for that front clipping point. Nicely done as they wait for that transition. Perfectly timed. Oh, contact onto the wall. Throws Al-Shatshui through and throws himself out of the battle. And just like that, Dave, it's all over Al-Shatshui.
Yeah, and the thing is, the big difference between the real world and the virtual world is those walls, they might crunch the back of your car a little bit. It's actually more forgiving in the real world because it actually flexes the back of your car. In this particular atmosphere, or in Assetto Corsa as the engine that's running this, it actually is very harsh. Watch when he hits that wall, it actually becomes instant bang, straightens the car up, sends him into another wall. I think Mustard can't believe his luck. He's looking at the other cars. He comes across the line, a little wave out the window, I'm sure, saying, "See you later, buddy. I'm going to the top 16."
Yeah, I mean, I think people feel or understand maybe that the virtual world, Dave, like you explained, is a little bit more forgiving, but I don't think it is. Those walls are dead solid. One little bit of contact, that's just past so much.
I think this might be an easier decision for the judges this time around, as we have got a car not completing the course. And you know what? Up until that point, the Saudi driver was looking very strong, but it's Cameron Mustard from the Great Britain going through to the top 16. Well, that was a battle of holding nerve. That's exactly what Mustard did. He held his nerve, and hot stuff for Mustard in the top 32.
Well, it doesn't never, ceases to amaze me, Dave, the puns that you have.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. So we go to our next battle. It's going to be Hungary against Ukraine. It's going to be Zelensky against Kulkov. These guys are in Oryx 7. Like to see it. HGK Eurofighter in the chase. They're two incredible chassis. Let's see who puts in an incredible run.
Well, there we go. Nice initiation from both guys. Big separation, though, from Zelensky. Doesn't get himself into the mix straight away. You can see him holding back in that HGK Eurofighter. That has the RX-7, though, looking good. Oh, bang backwards into the wall there. You can see him have to touch kick it. Think about the situation. Work himself into it. Once again, throws big angle at it. Zelensky shallows up the angle. Oh! And Cholkov doesn't complete the run. Bails out of it.
Very strange indeed. I mean, I'm not going to say the cars can't break down, but I mean, maybe your steering wheel at home can let go, or your pedal or something, because transition here from Cholkov, watch this, goes way too deep towards the wall, sort of 90 degrees, has to lock the front brakes. Almost the wall is the reason it's just been out. As he transitions back, he's sort of held it. Don't get me wrong, the chase for him is a little tentative. But watch just here as he's finishing up. Yeah, turns the opposite way, gets a little bit lost. The wrong, put the quick route in the GPS, Ian, back to the start line.
I wonder if he thought that maybe that was the finish line at the end of that zone, and that the finish line wasn't, after that transition.
You would imagine through practice that
they would have noticed. Surely,
yeah, they would have noticed this. But very strange. Maybe we'll hear later on what happened. But for me right now, it looks like a clear advantage to one driver. And I gotta say, that massive 90 degrees onto the wall and bouncing off the wall, did like it. Thought it was fun. All four wheels locked up. But I think judges will take that as a mistake.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it doesn't look like he's going to make his way back to the start line for the second half of the run, Dave. Oh, he does. Just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, that is lastminute.com, straight onto the start line. Probably at a big disadvantage here, zeroing out on his lead run. Now, let's see if Zelensky can get the job done here. The Hungarian has all the advantage. He actually didn't look too strong in the chase, but it's a game of chance, and it's also a game of being patient. He didn't make any mistakes either, so let's see what happens when we turn him around.
Well, we'll wait to get the start line lights illuminated. There they go in front of you. Once they go out, it is time to go. And those guys both jumping straight away through the gate. Zelensky now looking for the initiation. Whoa, Cholkov onto the door, though. Put the front end of that RX-7 into the door and gives him a tap. That pushes him way offline. Now the aggression's starting to play through, and you can see Cholkov very aggressive. He's going to go for it again and pushes. Is lagging way offline, and this is scrappy from the Ukrainian driver. I think he knocked himself out of this battle.
Well, he knocked himself out, and he knocked just about every wall and person around him as well along the way, because he hit so hard here at the end of the first corner. He actually pushed Zelensky out wide. He barely keeps it going, and he's going to learn his lesson. He just dives late again, doesn't break at all, and just absolutely starts to lead car. And you have to do that whether it's not going to be a broken bumper or a broken door. It's still going to be a broken heart. The judges are going to say, well, that's a big mistake. And I think this is another quite an easy one for the judges to make the decision on. Let's see which way it goes. Yeah, it's going to be the Hungarians. Sajagi going through to the top 16. Too much aggression. You know, there's the lesson learned for the rest of the grid right away, Ian. Don't be too aggressive or you can knock yourself out rather than even getting a chance to beat your opponent. Moving on. It's going to be Slovakia against Russia. Got like 35 countries this year, which is crazy. From all over the world. Obviously, no restrictions in geographical terms, so everyone can enter from everywhere. We got a big old GTR from the Russian driver and Goonin going up against Kuvulka from Slovakia. He's in the chase. We see how these two guys work it out. Will there be a manage of aggression here? Will we see guys going door to door?
Well, there we go, straight into it, no messing around. Oh, big entry there from Kuvulka, but he couldn't hold on to it. Goonin put to the floor, that big GTR just held on, puts the power down as they transition now into the wall. Goonin doing a very tidy job on the outside though. Looks at the transition now. Kuvulka looks to the door, dives, gets the front wheel to the front wheel. Can he hold on to it? Certainly can. Doesn't overtake the lead car. Nicely done at the end of that run.
Yeah, nice chase run from Kuvulka, but I think it's this first cornering, as you mentioned. Enters a little fast, hits the front brake, and it sends him wide. No proximity. It's got to cut across the track. And if you're just picking up the action just around here, he looks like he's got everything under control, but the judges will be watching that first corner, saying he did not have the correct line, even in the chase position. And okay, you can come off that perfect line if you've got really close proximity, but he kind of had neither. So I'd imagine he's going to be on a little bit of a disadvantage. And nice to see the Russian good in throwing that big GTO around and making it look like a very, very controllable car. So he's now in the chase position. I imagine pendulum swinging slightly towards him in terms of an advantage. Let's see how the Slovakian handles that lead position. He's got to do something special here, Ian.
Certainly has, Dave. Well, Goonin no messing around through the start line. He comes down. No chicane for him in that chase position. Kuvulka, though, fires that car in. No mistakes this time. Goonin has to back out of it. Just ever so slightly taps the foot brake, give himself some distance between the side of that S15. The transition, bumper to bumper. Nicely done! Oh, a big contact to the wall from Kuvulka. And that is it. That is all she wrote, Dave.
Absolutely. I was just thinking from Kuvulka's point of view there. The first corner actually initiates too early. Watch this. Goes on too much angle too early. Comes out of that first zone way too early. Misses the second zone. At this point, I think, Goonin's got this in the bag, and then Kuvulka really makes it easy for the judges by transitioning too late, too wide, big hit, big pass. That is to that. I think even you and I could be judges here, Ian. I mean, these guys are kind of knocking themselves out of competition. There will be Goonin from Russia going through to the top 16. It's the survival of the fittest so far in the top 32. So, and you get around 2 laps of the track, seems to be a big advantage.
Yeah, that seems to be the question now that you need to ask yourself. Can you do 2 consecutive runs of the track? If so, yes. Can you make it through to the final? That could be the only way you make it through today.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a small break, and we'll be back with you very, very soon. We want to thank all of our partners here at the Budmat Virtual Championship. Rent-A-Driftcar.com, VALINO Tires, Budmat, LIQUI.EU, SC Suspension, Bimerg. We're back very shortly with more action. Second year Driftmat Virtual Championship, round 1. Welcome back, guys, to round one of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. I'm Dave Egan, joined by my co-host Ian Waddington. We're talking you through all the action from an aircraft carrier, where we are hosting the first round of the championship. We're deep into the top 32. Moving on to our next two drivers. It will be representing Ireland, Alan Hines, and representing Great Britain, Carvin. And to be honest with you, Ian, this is the guy we've been watching throughout last year. Alan Hines looks like it's finally time he wants to take home this championship, but he's got a very, very steely opponent to get.
He certainly has, David. Yeah, and Alan Hines has been a man that everybody has been trying to take down for a long time now. Tipped to the post last year by Rhys Tatson. Can this year be the year he makes his name? But he's got a very good competitor on right now. Carvin, though, off the outside zone. To the front end of that car, wandering past the front end of Hines' S15. They transition nicely up onto the wall, go by cars. A little bit of separation. Carvin needs to get himself into the mix. Look for the transition once again, idly done, almost contact. Carvin backs out of it, looks for the door, goes for the front wheel, slides along that rear quarter, just about holds it together.
Yeah, incredible chase run from Alan Carvin. And let's be honest here, Alan Hines' lead run was pretty sensational as well. Really wide on this first corner. Exactly what the judges wanted to see. Now, watch how he tucks the nose in here perfectly. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the transitions, the chase position from Carvin, who waits his time. Watch how long he waits here on the transition and just about gets away with it. Dives up onto the door. It's a little bit of a back off, then gets back on it again. That's an excellent chase run following an excellent lead run. These guys are holding no punches right now.
Certainly not, David. There's a lot at stake for both of these guys, and both of them want to make their name. They see what happened to Rhys Tatson. They want to be that guy. Carvin in the lead position. Alan Hines sets himself back on the back bumper, looking for the lights to light up on that start line. Now ready to tear down the aircraft carrier into that first outside zone.
Little delay from our marshals on the lights. Now, no one getting a chance. You can see Alan Hines sit back patiently. Wants to get a good run at this. But a car length back. This is allowed. He's allowed to do this. He's going to edge off that. Right, end up with a push past the lead car and get on the door. And from my perspective right now, Carvin looks like he may carry a small advantage here from a great chase run. So Alan Hines is going to have to really be at his A game, get on the door and be as exceptional as possible. A little delay here in the action right now, but it looks like the lights are good to go. The lights are out, and here they go.
Yeah, they certainly are. Carvin through that chicane. Down he comes. You can see Hines hunting for that back bumper. Both initiate exactly the same time on that handbrake for a long time. Carvin just about holds on, lets the back end slide into the outside zone too. That front clearing point, nicely done. Alan Hines on the back bumper through the smoke on the transition. Nice again. Look at this from Hines. Absolutely calculated. Transitions the car perfectly into that fifth outside zone before they cross across the finish line. And textbook from Alan Hines.
Yeah, phenomenal chase run there. And to be honest, this lead run, watch this wall run. Alan Carvin, he actually gets it wrong, manages just stays out of the wall, but missing that first zone. That judges are going to be watching that. The rest of the lead run was pretty solid. But all eyes now on this second half of the course going to Alan Hines, right up on the front wheel, but doesn't make contact. See him, feathering that left foot brake to keep the power on, but the car not lurking forward too fast. Masterclass in chase driving there. And it looks like he may take the advantage from where I'm sitting, but the judges may watch something completely different. And it is going to be, called it myself. I think if you look across the two runs, Alan Hines is definitely the stronger of the two drivers there, and he goes to the top 16. On paper, no surprise, but Alan Carvin putting up a great fight. Move back to the start line. Four very interesting cars. We've got Gardner. He's in what I think is an Infinity Q38 against an old Mark III Super. So, I love the fact that you can pick whatever you want in terms of chassis. And where would you see these two icons line up? And here we go. It's going to be Gardner to lead him in.
Yeah, Craig Fulham back for a second year, but big separation already as Gardner fires in. Two Americans going head-to-head right now. Look at this. Gardner showing Fulham what it's all about. Look at this. Through they come. Craig Fulham panicking. Almost takes the back end off of that Infinity as they come round into the outside zone. Five big transition, big heavy car to get flicked in. And physics working exactly the same as Craig Fulham gets onto the rear quarter. Oh, and almost makes contact across the line.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, was Craig Fulham, he was in an RX 8 last season?
Yeah, an RX 8. Yeah, that's right, Dave.
Yeah, jumping into a Mark III Supra. I mean, this guy's got a bit of taste. I like that. And again, you can see Brandon Gardner did a good job in lead position. Big old car, as you said, then sparks from the wall. Does a good job of keeping it smooth around the track. Very similar run that we saw from you know, in the GTR, big car to get around these tight courses, but to get it right, it looked so right, and he did a great job in the lead position. Now, it's on Craig Fulham to try and get out there, put on a sensational lead run. Gardner got the bigger car, but he makes a bigger impact in the chase position. We're about to find out.
Oh, Craig Fulham, the seasoned pro, already knows his ropes, knows the way around it. Fires into outside zone 1, nicely done, big angle carried, starts to wander away from the wall, gets back into it, tags it too deep into outside zone 2, upsets his line. Gardner holds on to it, keeps his distance in the background, doesn't try to make the kill just yet. See him nose in that front bumper onto the front end of that Supra. Come into outside zone 5 now. Gardner makes the kill, gets on the rear quarter and gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right there, Ian. I think, you know, Fulham trying to impress the judges with something extreme, but it just didn't go his way. His wall run was exceptional here, but as he goes towards this next zone, he just gets a little tap, you know, and you can see Brandon Gardner had to back out at that point, and it, you know, it cost him kind of a lot of proximity to half the run. And then everything's back business as usual from here, but sometimes just that one mistake can be enough over 2 runs. I didn't see any mistakes from Gardner. I did see one from Fulham. From my layman's eyes, that might be all she wrote for Craig Fulham. Let's see which way the judges slide in.
Big name already out of the competition potentially.
Like the way they've parked up, almost like a photo shoot at the end. Awesome. Well, not so awesome for Craig Fulham, because it is going to be Brandon Gardner, USA, going through to the top 16, and well-deserved, Ian. I think that was a pretty obvious one. I mean, if you're watching at home, if you see one car hit the wall or make a mistake or straighten up or wobble, you know at this level, it's probably going to be enough to send you home and move it along. It is going to be from, if I'm not mistaken, the Dominican Republic, Garcia, taking on Polish driver Zemski. Zemski was a driver that was in the last year, had a strong showing. Let's see if Garcia, who has the higher qualifier here, ladies and gentlemen, he is in, if I'm not mistaken, it is an S15 fronted 14 maybe, against a W1 series. And into the first corner they go, nice and wide from both drivers. Garcia doing a good job at that lead position, nice high towards that inner zone. Zemski now trying to make that big dive. A little too tentative, doesn't get up on the door, but now he's got to make a late dive, little wobble from Zemski on the transition. Keeps that proximity right across the line. Solid run for both of these guys. Nice to see both of these guys hitting the ground running with an awesome first half of the battle.
Yeah, and very nicely job done there from Garcia in that lead position. Zemski, as you say, Dave, returning driver for 2022. Looked a little bit hesitant to me, though, on that chase. Held out just ever so slightly. Nicely timed transitions. Just didn't really get the job done from a judging criterion there. You can see big wobble, has a mistake, goes for a dive, has to back out of it. Now upsets him here, trying to get up onto the door. Zemski gets onto the rear quarter just across the line, but Garcia looking strong in that lead position. They swap around, back to the line they go.
Yeah, it's that accordion effect, Ian, as I always say, you know, if you slow up too much, you got to go fast, and you slow, and then you've got the whole synchronicity all off. So that's what happens to Zemski. Let's see what happens on this second half. Zemski, early initiation, big initiation from Garcia, nearly messed it up. Somehow holds on to it because he was quite close to that outer wall. Now he's got to make the dive here very quickly. He does get in there. Really nice proximity from Garcia as he goes really close. Little wobble again from Garcia, and Zemski doing a good job of getting out in front. He cut the course a little bit, and this balanced it off a little bit. Zemski doesn't look too deterred up front, and Garcia, first corner I want to see again. Garcia comes in super hot, and watch this, on the back bumper, goes in on bigger angle, doesn't make contact, somehow stays out of the wall. In fact, has a better outside line than the lead car, but doesn't have the proximity. So, not sure how the judges. He actually gets closer to the walls everywhere on the course, Ian, which is not what he's supposed to be doing.
No, you know, it's risk reward. He goes for it. It looks a little bit scrappy though, Dave. Doesn't look as fluid to Zemski. For me, out front doing a much nicer job, making it look easy, making it look real tidy. How do the judges see it? Rick and David both vote for Zemski, and yeah, that fluidity of Zemski, that smoothness, Dave, getting them the win and taking him through to the top 16.
That's the thing. I mean, you know, you can have that aggression, but if you can't pull it off, it's the risk reward, and it can knock you out of the competition. We now move on to our next battle. Is that an Audi on the start line? I think it is.
Yep, that
Ukrainian
certainly is, Dave.
Shenko from the Ukraine says, I'm just going to drive an Audi. I think maybe an S3 or an A5. We'll have a look at it from the side. Going up against a more conventional driver in Grand Prix in this S14. Let's see how they get on here.
Yeah, Gron in that S14, absolutely firing down. But look at Shenko as he goes for it up and to the side in that Audi. Looks at the door. You can see him getting super close to that front wheel. seen it before, one little touch can cause huge problems fast, though, as they absolutely fly into outside zone, almost carrying too much speed as they transition and get into outside zone 5. Shenko up onto the side of Gron's S14, though, no messing around as they cross the line. Beautiful work.
What day do you wake up and say, I need an Audi S3 wide body, big wing? You know, I'm not sure what engine is that. It sounds like a rotary, what I can hear. But does an awesome job, as you can see, passing over that LIQUI logo as they transition back. That's the move for me. Very difficult to pull off. You know, he was almost mirroring that lead car, absolutely perfect throughout the course. I think probably my favorite chase run we've seen today. And hats off to Shenko, who's done an amazing job in an unusual car. Gron in the lead, not doing anything too much wrong, but you know, as you said, that risk reward. It's like a game of poker, you know. You go all in or you know fold, and I think a lot of these guys going all in, and when it works, it really works.
There we go. It's second half of the run. Shenko coming firing down the Audi, and you can see a lot of chase drivers taking the option to sacrifice outside zone 1 for that proximity. Shenko back bumper 90 degrees to the wall. Grom now onto the door, look for the transition, nicely done, big speed once again into that outside zone 4. Go for the transition, the tricky one here for 5, nicely done by both guys. A little bit of proximity lost though from Grom, and he wheeled it back and starting to put the pressure onto the side. Shenko across the line that they go.
I think that first corner for Shenko was absolutely outrageous. Watch how Gron cannot deal with the angle. So he goes on 90 degrees, holds it. Gron has to shallow up. He thinks he's going to spin, and he stays on a huge angle throughout the whole course. I mean, if that was a qualifying run, I don't see where you would improve from there in terms of angle and impact and smoke. And you know what? While Gron's doing a great job in the chase position, he's being made look a little ordinary by Shenko there with the big angle and big impact. So let's see which way the judges go. But you know, I think that Audi for me looked absolutely sensational across the 2 runs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Dave, there. And yeah, like you say, Gron just looking kind of ordinary. Didn't have no style, no pizzazz, as we'd like to say, compared to Shenko.
Of course, I'd like to say a big thank you to most important sponsor here today, Ian, the US military, for allowing us to use an aircraft carrier for a drift event. Oh, and we got it one more time. We got it one more time between Shenko and Gron. So maybe that big angle not being rewarded as much as we thought. So maybe being a bit slow.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I can see it. But you know, I thought there was glimmers there in there that might have pulled him through. So no need for tyres and fuel, Dave. Virtual world, you can get yourself straight back to the start line and go back at it again.
I don't think if Shenko goes any more aggressive here, he'll implode, because like that was as good a lead and chase, well, especially in the lead. It was 90 degrees. It was as max angle, max smoke, max as he could do everything. So how does he change his approach here? This is where you could see him looking strong and then now making an error, trying to go too aggressive. And Gron stayed steady, stayed consistent, and he was rewarded with another chance at this foul.
Yeah, it certainly is. Fruit, they come down. They've had some practice at it. They've both felt each other out a little bit. Look at this. Both initiate at the same time this time. Start on some big angle. Shenko now trying to be a bit more aggressive. Gron gets himself into the wall, has to battle to keep himself onto the circuit. Shenko sees that. Some blood in the water maybe. Goes on huge angle though, does Gron. He looks for outside zone 5. Shenko holds on, hits the front wheel to the front wheel. Shenko pushes Gron across that finish line.
Yeah, I mean the judges are, these two guys being so extreme, it's almost like who slips first. And to me, it looked a little bit like it was Gron. He went in wide into outer zone 2, and watch this, at the end of the wall, takes the tag, that barely gets away with it into the inside zone. That's a big mistake, Ian. That's going to hurt his score overall here. And it's now on Shenko to put in on his own a really good lead run, and I don't think there's much Gron can do to overcome that mistake if Shenko does put in a phenomenal lead run. It's all ball in his court now.
Certainly is. So Shenko needs to put down that 100-point qualifying run. Ukrainian driver looking at one step in the top 16. Gron, though, wounded at the moment. Can he claw anything back in the second half of the one more time battle? They come firing down. He's onto the bumper, looks for the side of the car, tries to get himself into the mix by going 90 degrees with Shenko as they go into outside zone 2. Got that front coming point, look for the transition. Shenko gets it dialed absolutely perfect. Gron with him though the whole way, no separation on the transition into outside zone 5. They go flat to floor now, a little wobble from Gron, a little chink in the armour as they go foot across the line and almost contact.
Yeah, I think this one might be a little bit more straightforward. You can see very little massive entry from Shenko on 90 degrees again. He's going to be tough to chase all day with that if he continues in the competition, because it's a very, very wild initiation. Could have been a little closer on that inner zone. Ron doing a good job here diving in. Again, looks like a big angle at the end of the corner. And it's an unusual style. But I think it's the mistake from hitting the wall from Ron on the first one. Probably going to decide this one. No major errors, or at least bigger errors from Lukashenko. So this one might be a little bit more straightforward. And if is the way I've seen it, yeah, it's the exact opposite. It's going to be Gron again getting the call. And I mean, this is something that I'm not too sure on, Ian. I thought for me that mistake would be it, but they seem to not like the style of Lukashenko.
No, maybe it was the big angle, like you say, Dave. The judges were not liking it, not as much as we did with the golden buzzer moment.
Well, that's the thing. We look at it from an entertainment point of view. We're probably the two least technical people to be watching this, Ian, because we generally just go for smoke, impact, angle, and all the good stuff, just like you guys at home. But the judges in their briefings have explained some very technical things. Let's be honest, one of those things was not to go on so much angle that you were slow. I've got to say, Lukashenko was guilty of that throughout almost both runs. So we're going to take a small little break as we rattle through this top 32, getting into the business then as we move along. Remember what's up for grabs here, guys. A chance for one of these drivers to go and drive in the real Drift Masters European Championship. But who's it going to be? Well, we've kicked off round one in style. We'll continue in a few moments. We're back after the Welcome back, guys. It is round one of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. We're on an aircraft carrier, the best virtual drifters in the world. What more could you want on a Saturday evening other than myself, Dave Egan, and Ian Wellington, talking you through the action, seeing who's going to come out on top. We are here and ready for another top 32 battle. It's going to be the Russian Agorov against USA driver Jarvo. And we saw Jarvo last year. He's back in an RX-7. Agorov is in an S15 fronted S14. Ian, another driver we have to pick from these two and another two steely competitors.
Yeah, certainly has, Dave, as they come absolutely screaming down. And I know for sure that Jarvo was one of the most strongest competitors that we see coming back. A few names returning, but look at Agorov. Looks for the side of that Mazda RX-7, big dive down onto outside zone 4, looks for the door of that RX-7. Jarvo goes for the transition, nicely done. A little bit of separation in proximity as Agorov starts to find the side and the front wheel of that Mazda once again across the line, tidily done.
Good stuff. Now, you know me, and I'm going to go for style, so you've got to look at Jarvo there. He's running the old school Fast and Furious graphics on the side of the RX-7, like that. Then you also got to look at Agorov. The car looks a little bit like James Dean, so fellow countryman, so I'm split on this. But in terms of the driving, I'm also a little bit split. It looks very tidy for both drivers to me. Nothing too spectacular, no major mistakes. Could have seen a little bit more proximity at times from Agorov, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I think it was a pretty solid lead pace. I think they're just going to have to rely on the second run to sort of divide these two guys.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Dave. Agorov now in that lead position. Jarvo give chase. Mazda RX-7 looking very good as they come through the start line. Down through the chicane they come. Slots it into position as Jarvo, as Agorov fires it at 90 degrees to the wall. Wheel to wheel now as they come through inside zone 1. Looking tidy on the transition. Big speed carried and separation as Agorov goes for the kill. Tries to escape Jarvo, but Jarvo finds him once again. He's outside zone 5. Flat to the floor. Looks for the door. Just about gets there.
A little bit of contact over the finish line and some very aggressive driving from Jarvo there as he dives in onto that first corner. Big angle from both drivers, but Jarvo just, you know, working his way into the corner, getting the proximity towards the end of it. Again, sort of similar to the first run as they transition back. Jarvo then, you know, not really that much proximity there. That's the bit where I can see some separation across both runs. I think Agorov had a little bit more proximity there. Jarvo tries to make up for it at the end, cutting the course a little bit to try and stay in the battle. Maybe the Russian has come out on top. I'm not too sure, and the judges are not listening to me and you, Ian. They're listening to their technical rules. So let's see which way it goes. And we have another competitor into the top 16. Again, I want to thank our title partner, Link Engine Management, for their support of the championship this year, alongside RentedDriftCar.com, VALINO tires, Budmat, SD suspension, and Bimerg. We wait for the judges to drop in those scores. Ian, not easy. Drop scores in this particular championship, especially when drivers are just so close in their ability.
Yeah, no, I was just sitting here a moment ago trying to work out what it could be they're thinking about. Yeah, look at this. It doesn't surprise me. Oh, a complete split in the decision. So it will be a one more time. Eric going for one more time, and David Kolasik going for Agorov. So back to the start line to get this underway again, Dave. And yeah, there's such fine margins to split them on. You know, you could argue this day.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. If you're really struggling as a judge to find anything to separate the drivers, best bet is probably to go one more time, simply because, you know, if there's nothing that you can have a conversation about, if there's nothing you can have an argument about, then for me, I think you're looking at the balance there on the first two, and I think we're going to have to see these guys. I think, to be honest, just turn up that risk reward a little bit, turn up that aggression a little bit, get in there, get busy with it. And I think from my perspective, both guys a little tentative, maybe watching some of the previous battles. I don't want to knock myself out of competition, but they didn't really win it either. So let's see what happens when we go back at it again. This time, once again, it will be Jarvo from the USA to lead in the Russian Agorov.
Go, look at that through there, no messing around. The Russian driver looking for the side of that Mazda RX-7, just gets himself out of that outside zone though, sets himself up nicely. Get contact on outside zone 2, rolls himself in now as Jarvo goes for a big transition up the wall, foot flat to the floor. Now look for once again a nice tidy transition, gets the job done, makes the job of Agorov really easy, because that is such a nice line to chase as they come across the finish.
That transition, that last transition, Jarvo was insane. So looking at this lead run, absolutely perfect on the first. Now watch Agorov as he gets close here. He gets a little too close just here. I don't think it affects the lead car. It won't hurt his score too much. Proximity much better this time around from the Russian. But here's where it really gets impressive. Look how late Jarvo stays in it. Watch this transition. Big lock to big lock. Absolutely perfect time. Agora goes with him, as you said, giving him all the advantage to get up close and personal. And I think that's a better run for both drivers over their first previous battle.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there, Dave. I'm excited to see the second half of this one more time battle run out, and you can see Jarvo eager to get this battle underway. He knows he's got what it takes to get himself through. Look at this, goes for the dive, big angle on initiation. Agora, though, not messing around, gets himself into the outside zone. Both drivers tagging the rear end of the car onto the wall there. Stayed in it though, nice transition back again, big speed, on a wobble from Jarvo as he looks to the side of that S15. Nice job once again from Agora. Stalls up though, does Jarvo, gets on the foot brake, has to wait, make that proximity dive. Is that all she wrote for Jarvo?
You know what? I was just thinking in my own mind that there was a couple of misjudged moments there. Jarvo goes close here, but you know, both drivers tag the wall. I'm going to just bring it back to this very last corner here. Watching the transition back, Jarvo's got a very unsmooth way of diving. So as he transitions, gets it a little late. Watch just here, starts to straighten up a little bit, and you know, jumping forward rather than staying perfectly mirrored to the car. Is that enough to separate them? The judges will be the deciding factor here, but to me, that was the only thing I could see across both runs. So, and there you have it. It is going to be the Russian Agora going through to top 16. I think that's a fair call, Ian. I think that a little error has crept into Jarvo there. He still has some cool Fast and Furious graphics though, so you know, consolation prize is he gets my gold star for style. And we move on to our next battle. Irish driver in Greener going up against the Hungarian Epinger. Greener and Epinger. Say this one fast, really quick, Ian. I dare you. And it is going to be the Hungarians in that Toyota Supra, and Greener is going to be in that S14. These two guys, you know, as we work our way through this whole bracket, these guys are going to be one of the guys to stand out. Watch new guys to the championship. Want to make a statement here. See how they get on.
Yeah, new names to the championship, and already Greener looking strong. But Epinger, as I say that, says, well, let's have a piece of the cake, buddy. Gets on to the door, gets the wheel into the door, goes for a big transition now. There's separation. Avoids contact though on that transition back once again as Greener gets himself up on deep into the outside zone. Bigelow nicely done on the back end. That big Supra, not easy to fire around.
No, and you know, I looked at this first corner. I thought that he got left a little bit, the Hungarian driver, but all of a sudden he's on the door, and somehow the little tap at the front brake stays there. I thought there was going to be big contact, but he did really well to hold it. From here on out, just a good job. I mean, I like that lead run, really wide, nice big angle. That's what I just wanted to see. Nice transitions, and Binger looking good, not super fluid, a little bit, you know, cutting the course. But I mean, we're going to have to be very, very, very critical here, Ian, because a lot of these runs are very similar and very good. It makes our job a lot more difficult, and the judges' job much more difficult to separate the drivers.
Yeah, it certainly does. These guys, you know, like you say, can put in countless hours without it costing pretty much any money as we get them back underway for the second half of the run. And Greener getting left for dust a little bit there. Has to be careful. Epinger fires in big angle. Did he sacrifice some of that outside zone one as Greener now starts to look for the side? That Toyota Supra stays away though, keeps his distance up down into outside zone 4. Slow both the cars down, slow massively. They transition. Greener goes for the dive, just can't seem to get that perfect proximity onto the front wheel. Across the line goes Epinger.
Two is solid drivers. I mean, let's watch this one back in. As he comes into that first corner, the sparks from the back of that Supra show how close he was to that wall. A very aggressive entry. I think it caught Greener off the guard a little bit. And the pace of this Supra through the whole course. I mean, he's a much stronger driver in the lead than he was in the chase. And Greener struggling for proximity, I would say, the whole run. I mean, is that going to be the nail in the coffin?
That's where I'd be leading to, Dave. You know, kind of looked like he was being a little bit tentative, stayed away. I think the proximity for me was a big key, and there we go. I think that is the one that played through. Epinger goes through into the top 16, the Irishman out of competition.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the entry from it's a little bit more risk. Therefore, if someone's risking more, you got to reward more. So pretty happy with that. Now we've got Russia going up against Bulgaria or Belarus. Belarus. And it is going to Belarus. It's going to be Storchev going up against Yakovitch. Yakovitch in the S15 going up against Storchev in the Supra. Nice little LED light system going on the Supra. I like that. See if he's got as much flair on the track. He's in the lead position.
Yes, Dorofsech fires that in. That's super not easy to manipulate around. But look at this. Oh, Yakovitch gets himself into the mix. No messing around. Straight into it. Starts to throw some punches on the side of that Supra. Tagging the front wheel again and again. No messing around. Needs to be careful with that kind of proximity. That kind of aggression could knock him out of the battle. As Dorofsech gets himself across the line, tidily done in that lead position.
Very Kawabata vibes from Yakovitch's car. The chase position does a nice job getting up onto the door. A little bit of a tip there, and that's a mistake for me. He hits the front wheel, wobbles his car a little bit. He's got phenomenal proximity, but again, not afraid to bump a few times through the track. So it depends how the judges are going to weigh that up. Do they want to see guys being super clean? Do they mind a little bit of bumping? For me, those little bumps, I would see them as a little bit of a mistake, getting a little too aggressive. But you know, in that big Supra, you're not going to wobble him at the Russian too much. So switch him around and we'll see what happens. But Yakovitch from Belarus, he's in the lead position now. He's got to be strong here. I think he's sitting at a little bit of a disadvantage, maybe from some errors. Oh, very hard initiation.
Yeah, needs to play it careful now, needs to play it safe, play the long game, try and get on that perfect 100-point lead run. Storovich now finds himself onto the back bump, onto the side of that S15. Tidy job into outside turn 4, looks for the transition. Look how long he held him out there, and that really upsets Storovich now. Now he's going to have to work hard to get himself back into the zone. Just can't seem to find the back bumper.
Yeah, I'm wondering how the judges will do that. He did stay on angle for a very long. This is almost a disaster from the off. 90-degree angle entry from Yakovitch. He comes through that section. Nice lead run. And Storovich, he's in the chase position here. He's coming in, he's in a nice position. And watch how long Yakovitch stays out here. And it really messes up Storovich. He's gone with him, and now he's got to straighten up a little bit. So that mistake, I think, will decide this one. Whether or not Storovich should have mistimed it, or was lead driver's fault. So the judge's decision will probably make that one clearer for us.
To find out, we wait for that judge's decision to drop in. Fancy LED lights on the front of that Supra, Dave. Yeah,
very, very fancy. There you have it. Yakovitch gets the call and goes through, and he is the winner. And it's a mistimed transition from the chase driver. So there you go. And we're learning as we go in. We're learning how the judges are seeing this one, especially on this circuit, as we move along to our next battle. And it will be the Polish driver in the 370Z. That is Kwinczynski. Going up against, if I'm not mistaken, a Cuban driver in Cabrera. So we have got the whole world encompassed here at the championship tonight. And it is going to be the Polish driver to lead him out. Chase position in a mid-90s Mustang, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
look totally wrong.
That way, yeah, from what I can see on my screen. Zemski now fires in, looking good. Back to the floor, looking strong. 370Z on that transition. Looking tidy as Cabrera goes for the dive onto the door. No, that is an S15, Dave. Making the chase down way over the outside edge of that zone, though. Zemski could be marked down for that too wide on outside zone 5.
Yeah, today was the day. We'll all remember that I called an S15. So that's right. Whatever way it was looking, though, I think it was it looked like there was a Ford badge in the middle of the grill. But anyway, yeah, good solid lead run. Not a lot of Cabrera's first half, of course. It's a big dive here. But that's to kind of stop up the accordion effect. Now, you did mention that Krazinsky goes wide there, but I don't think it's enough. I'm not sure if he drops a wheel off. I think for me, the one standout from that run was Cabrera, just a little bit of a lack of proximity. But come on, from this angle, that little
badge. I see it now, Dave.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I see it, Dave. I do see it. It looks like a Fox body Mustang, but no, it definitely is an S15. They come through the gates, on the hills they go, and look at this from Krazinsky. No messing around. Whoa, big angle from Cabrera. Fires that car in over 90 degrees. Oh, and contact. Make contact. Was that Krazinsky?
For me, the lead run wasn't perfect into that first corner, and the contact was definitely made by the chase driver. So the question we have now, they finish across the line here, it's going to come down to that impact, it's going to come down to that contact. Watch the lead car. Just for me, I'm not sure if it was he's come out of the zone a bit early, jumped towards that wall in a bit of a triangle. I think it slowed a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just to avoid the wall, and the chase cars kind of got collected in that. But that's just my first impression. So it just makes it completely different. But from where I'm sitting, it looked like he had the wrong trajectory. A big word for me.
Big word,
sort of
Dave.
Making a half circle of triangle there, going right to the point in the corner, and sort of had to back off. So his own fault for driving a Mustang. Happened.
Those
So let's see
20
that.
Mustangs.
That's what it is. So let's see which way the judges go. An entertaining battle, if nonetheless. Two very good drivers. I love the detail here. You can see the twin fans in the back radiator of that 370. No need for it, Ian. There's no need for this
No need.
level of ingenuity, and it's about to design all this. They've got to program those fans to spin at that speed. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is insane. Just looking at the details, just madness.
Some of these cars are better built in the virtual world with more attention to detail than my own car in the real world. I can tell you that for a fact. So let's see which way the judges are going to go. They're having a good debate on this one, I think.
Yeah, they're discussing this, Dave. I'm not sure how they're going to see that impact. You know, was the lead car at fault? Was the chase car being too aggressive, trying to gain that proximity after they lost out a little? I'm not sure.
I think I've had that issue here where one slowing, one speeding up, and it's a split decision between our judges, which means it's a one more time. So I'd imagine one of the judges saying that the lead car was pushed into the wall by the chase, and the other one saying that the lead car was slowing down into the wall, so the chase car collected them. I think that's probably what's happened. Had an argument. They can't punch each other in the face because they're not in the same room. So usually, you know, in Drift Masters, in the real world, whoever the biggest judge is usually wins.
Wins. Vernon,
they have a small,
Vernon.
Yeah, no, Vernon. They have a small fight, and then whoever, you know, it's almost like a submission. But here, everyone's protected by distance, so we go back at it one more time. So, you know, I'm actually happy with that. Number one, I get to pronounce the cars as the correct cars that they are, which is the S15 and 370. Secondly, we don't like to see it end in a crash and through the first corner. So, see these guys put on a good show for the second battle, and I think they're going to learn a little bit from that first one too. Cabrera not having good proximity. Let's see if we can wind it in this time.
Yeah, certainly. So let's see if Cabrera can bring it home. Oh, and now he starts to get off on the wrong foot already, out of outside zone one. Not looking good. Tries to gain that proximity though. Krazinsky gets himself through. Both guys too far in at the inside flip one. They leave outside zone 4 a little early. That's going to upset the transition and the line into outside zone 5. They get into it. And look at this. Cabrera, no proximity. Can't get onto the door. Just about finds the rear bumper.
Yeah, that 370Z looks very, very fast. I'm not sure how you do that or what grip setting he's got on that, but it looks very, very smooth. He's very, very fast through here. And I think the reason he's fast is on the correct line. It's on the outside line all the way around there. So he's picking up pace. Watch Cabrera on the transition's a little early for me for a chase car. It's stuck on the inside of the track. As they transition back again, he's where he needs to be, but he's not doing anything sensational. You know, he's 5 or 6 meters back or a feet back at any point, and I think we're expecting these guys to be almost glued to each other through that last corner. So he's left the door open for Krazinsky. Poland, can he get that 370Z up onto the door and there for the take?
Certainly is, Dave. Zemski goes for the kill this time, knows where he went wrong, and he's going to go wrong again. Massive error there. Zemski, as Cabrera now starts to pull away, starts to find himself on that perfect lead line. Nice fast transition into outside zone 4. Zemski comes back at him though, looks at the transition back in it, needs to find some proximity, looks at the front wheel of that S15. One more clipping point, across the line they go. Oh, and I don't know, Dave. I don't know.
Did the lead car flow a little there? What's going on? Back up the car, he's not going to break. Quite a bit of time there. Doesn't make outer zone 2. That's the thing. He almost slows down a little too much on that wall. Just in my initial reaction. On the handbrake a long time, slowed down a lot. Did leave nowhere for the Polish driver to go, or did the Polish driver just make a mistake behind him? That's up for the judges to decide, thank God, and not for me. But to me, it looked like he stayed on the handbrake quite a little bit of time there, and then didn't get outer zone 2. So it would have shown that he didn't have the momentum to get to outer zone 2, which would show that he was slow on initiation. That's the logic I'm using, Ian. I don't often use it.
That is the logic. Is that how it's going to play out? There we go. Krazinsky from Poland gets the win and advances through to the top 15. Unfortunately, Cuba out of the match this weekend.
Yeah, so I think, look, you know what? We've all had a momentous moment here where I've been right once on my assumption of a judging decision. So, before we overload ourselves, we're going to take a small break. We'll be back with more action from the top 22 here of round 1 of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. Don't go anywhere. Back. And we are back here on an aircraft carrier for round one of the Drift Masters Virtual Championship 2022. Ian, the action's been coming thick and fast so far. We are knocking out some very, very big names early on. We try and search for our first winner of the season. Another two competitors heading to the line.
Yeah, we certainly are, Dave. We're making names and taking names, as we like to say, because we're creating some serious competitors this weekend. And yeah, who is going to be crowned our round one winner? Can it be Sad from the Saudi Arabia, or could it be Abramov from Russia in that Toyota Chaser? Well, it's R33 Nissan Skyline, from what I can tell, versus Toyota Chaser. They come down absolutely flying. Two different initiations there as they get themselves into it. Oh, and a big tag on the wall contact. Fires Sad on even more angle. The Saudi Arabian driver keeps himself in the mix. Now they get deep into the outside zone. Flat to the floor as they transition back up onto the wall. They go in outside zone 5. Abramov looks for the side, just keeps his distance. Across the line they go.
Yeah, I think he
14.
Yeah, he might have lost a little bit of confidence after the initiation. Two very different initiations, as you said. Abramov goes very late, but then that tag on the wall from Sad wobbles are quite a mistake by any means. And if you look at this, quite okay for the rest of the run, but I think both were a little bit shaken. You can see the Russian backing off a little bit, maybe thinking the lead driver is going to make more mistakes and not wanting to get caught up. And Saudi Arabian driver is Sad. Look at this, on initiation, comes a little early and just tags that wall. And sometimes tagging that wall, it's not like the real world where the back end will flex a little bit, bit of forgiveness. If you hit a wall, one of these cars, it really upsets their line and it should see it very clearly. So we switch them around. We'll see who's going to take it in the second half of this battle. It will be the Saudi Arabian driver. Sad to take the chase here, and he's probably got work to do. He's got to go close.
He certainly has, Dave. He's going to have to go for it. Look at that, almost makes contact onto the back bumper. He goes straight in. Too much angle, though. He's going to have to work to hold that one together. He gets up onto the side of that Toyota Chaser through that inside pivot point. They come, shallows up the angle, almost straight, though. The Saudi Arabian driver, as he looks to the side of that Chaser once again. Abramov looked deep into outside zone 5, foot back to the floor. Shallows up the angle once again. Does he come across the line?
The crazy thing about the Chaser is so big, it's almost like you got to look at your watch halfway through the transition to see it come back the other way. Just good here, Sad. He stays nice and close, and a good lead run too. Nice proximity here, and I know lack of angle here, but I think he's waiting for the transition. Does a good job of it, and but you know what? Gets right up onto the door there. Good chase run for me. Quite aggressive, maybe more aggressive than Abramov and his chase run, but more mistakes maybe from Sad than the Russian driver. So whichever way the judges are going to call this, it's either going to be weighed up against proximity and aggression. It's going to go to Sad, and if it's all about precision, which it will be, it's going to be Abramov. He goes through to top 16. I can see a fair call in that. I mean, makes no mistakes across the two runs. While there was so much more aggression from the Saudi driver, he did make those errors. So we move it back to the start line. Our next two drivers are ready to go. Brazil versus Poland. Shadow against Rapina. Rapina, driver who competed last year in the championship. He was very impressive. Looking for another impressive start here. Machado, he's smoking wheels there, ready to rock and roll. Brazilian driver ready to jump off the start line. Definitely doesn't want to get left behind. Maybe a little bit too much smoke off the line. That's actually got him left behind, and now he's got work to do.
He certainly has. Oh, he goes in over 90 degrees, though, as Rapina puts the back bumper of that BMW E36 to the wall. Now Mercado looking for the kill. He wants the kill straight away. Look at this, goes for the door. Sacrifice a little bit of speed. Rapina stays in it, keeps his foot flat to the floor. Nice job done, though. Now Mercado, the Brazilian driver, gets right up onto the door and across the line. Tidy job in that lead position.
I think Mercado was so excited to get going that he actually came off the line with too much wheel spin. Comes in over 90 degrees here, which he manages to hold, which is a very, very impressive feat in itself. Does a great job of getting up onto the door. As they transition back here, this is where Mercado makes a couple of errors. Watch this. Goes in, has to brake hard, backs off, loses the here again, a little hesitation, and a very late transition. So not very fluid in the chase position while having this incredible proximity. For Rapina, no such errors in the lead position. So if I'm going by what the judges have kind of been doing so far, those little errors are going to count towards its score, and Machado's going to have a pretty near perfect lead run here to get back into this.
Yes, Dave, and we've seen it in the past already. We're going to see it as we move forward in competition. Rapina now looking to get the win, get the W, move through to the top 16 as Rapina keeps his distance from a wild Mercado, as Mercado now puts back to the floor through inside zone 1. Transitions that car drifting up into the wall, and you can see him on the foot brake. Rapinoe fired too much angle at it, had just about back out of it, keep himself under control, himself back in it once again. Doesn't gain that proximity back though and loses it across the line.
Yeah, for me, Machado doing a good job. Like smoking wheels all the way up to the first corner, comes in, doesn't get as wide as we'd like to see on outer zone 1, maybe just late in outer zone 2, nice there. But watch Rapinoe in the chase position here as he gets close on the transition. It goes on way too much angle for me, kind of hits the front brake and kind of wind a lot of the angle out of it. Still does a good job of staying in it, doesn't make a major error, but it was an error all the same. And, you know, maybe not the amount of proximity we wanted to see. So judges are going to have to weigh this up. I think definitely more amazing moments coming from Machado and some of the more consistent moments coming from Rapinoe. So let's see which way the judges call it. Very tough to judge, Ian. I wouldn't like to be in their hot seat right now.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a pretty simple decision for those guys, but hey, Dave, what do we know from past experiences? We know nothing. We just know what we like to see.
Yeah, we are a sucker for a bit of entertainment. So it's going to be, oh, there we have it. It's the one more time. So one more time decision, and I can see that as a fair call. Machado doing the more fun 90-degree, big smoke, big angle, kind of bumping around stuff, which we quite like, Ian. But from a technical point of view, Rapinoe balancing that with a little bit of consistency. So one more time, straight back to the start line we go.
Yep, so these guys are going to go back at it straight again, no messing around, back to the start line.
And look at this, you got to love these guys, the guys with the sticks. I mean, they just get run over, and they don't even flinch. They're just like, look, we got to make sure these cars stop, and make sure everybody knows what's going on. And amazing feat of, I mean, they're a bit like the soldiers in the UK where you're from. You know, like they don't move.
Yeah.
The London Guard, is that what it's called?
Yep, the Queen's Guards, yep.
They're like those guys. They don't move. I mean, I've gone out there. I'm shouting at them. They don't seem to any response. Beautiful blue skies here as well. Which of course, you can just program in. Unlike the real world, where me and Ian are sometimes either sweating in 30-degree heat or we've got a -3 wind chill. It's a little bit more comfortable here in the virtual world. You can kind of pick the blue skies and say, "Hey, we'll have perfect conditions," and I quite like it.
I can't believe we haven't thrown a wet round in yet, though. So just for the, for fun. Just to be realistic.
Well, for me, what I love about it is the commute. So we are hearing from the marshals that there's going to be a little bit of a delay on this one more time, just because there's some issues on. You know what? A mechanical issue, ladies and gentlemen. I believe one of the driver's steering wheels having a little bit of an issue, so they're going to try and reset that. As we move on to our next couple of drivers, some tidy little hoops thrown in there at the start line. Not sure how legal that is, but it's a lot of fun for the lead driver, Neil. He is going up, the USA is going up against Sweden's Jagard, and Jagard is in that sort of old school looking 180SX, a little bit of flames popping out the bonnet. Like it, love it, we like to see it. And plenty of good looking cars out there, Ian. You know, a lot of very inspirational stuff.
Yeah, I love the styling. I love the liveries. I just love it all. You know, such good looking cars, and that's what drifting's all about. Look at this nice initiation though from Neil, the American, as he fires in up onto the wall. But Jagard, Swedish driver, no messing around in that 180SX. Looks for the transitions early, tries to get up on the door, tries to steal the transition from Neil as they get into outside zone 5. And Jagard not messing around. He knows where this battle could be won and lost. They absolutely destroy the rev limiters across the line.
Nice battle. You know, a lot of fun in that one as well. The guys throwing the cars around. Very comfortable. I love the wall run from Jagard in the chase. I mean, he's a chase driver. You see a lot of guys go very shallow on that first corner. He's tagging the wall. And this transition very early again. Now gets right up onto the but he times it very well. Stays in momentum with the lead car. That's what I like to see in is someone not stalling up, you know, not on the brakes, not kind of jumping forward and back. He absolutely matched that lead car's pace the whole way around, which was impressive, and so was the lead run. So I think we're definitely going to see fireworks here in the second half of this battle. Jagard, if he can put in an entry like that again in the lead position, he's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's going to be a tough contender moving forward. But Neil, the American, he's going to have to absolutely get this one on point. Flames erupt from both the bonnets as they go door to door, but big angle thrown at it from Neil in that chase position. Put him at an ever so slight loss there as they both fire in deep into outside zone 4. Carry the speed, keep the wheel speed going as they transition from 5. And again, a little mistake creeping in from Neil in that chase position. Just cannot get that proximity. looks like Jaeger is the stronger contender.
I mean, to me, I have to agree. I mean, this entry is absolutely sensational. Both drivers actually having a very good entry, but you can see Neil having to back out a little bit, having to dial off the angle a little bit. If you're going to reward mirroring the lead car, you can watch this on the dives in, but it slows down a little bit, gets on the inside, and a wobble just there, barely gets enough position back towards without hitting the wall. To me, yeah, Jaeger looking very strong across both, but judges watching for those technical mistakes, and we might have caught something we missed, but from where I'm sitting, it looks like an obvious call, and it is an obvious call. The Swede driver, Jaeger, goes through to our top 16th. Fair call again. Good job from Neil, though, and hopefully we'll see him back for a couple of events this year. A nice guy to watch these circuits, and of course, circuits will get even wilder and crazier and go all over the world from here. So you want to watch the next couple of rounds. It's going to be very different. We move on to our next driver, which we thought we were going to see it start, but we didn't. This is the man with he's got the target on his back. Definitely got the target on his back. He's Reese Tatterson. He's gone off and won the first ever Drift Masters Virtual Championship last year. He went off and drove Peter Vjein's 6,000 horsepower S15, and he got over 2 million views on YouTube doing it. He has gone from an unknown to an absolute hero of the virtual drift world, and now he goes up against a man who has the longest name in the drift world by the look of things. The Thai driver, Wang Fu Thin. So I'll leave that one to you, Ian, as we get into this first battle.
Thank you very much, Dave. Yeah, Tatterson leading them both in as Wutherson looks strong in that chase position. Can he keep that proximity? He knows Tatterson is the man to take down. If he can take down Tatterson early in the competition, he stands strong. Big dive there from Wutherson as he goes for it once again, but Tatterson just absolutely flawless in that lead position. You can see some mistakes in the chase. Big wobbles coming in as Tanawat just gets it wrong. Wow, Tatterson, you know what? Absolutely flawless.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, the chase run wasn't so bad. A little bit of separation here on this first corner. It doesn't get as close as you'd want, but for me, the real deciding factor in this bar, the fact that Tatterson had a phenomenal lead run here, is the fact that the Thai driver, as he transitions back here, watch how shallow he cuts this corner. His rear wheel's not even in the outer zone. First time we've seen that today. I don't think the judges are going to like that. I mean, he's getting the proximity for sure, but he's right up on the front bumper, where he really should be on the door, and he might be deducted a few points for that.
So waiting for the Thai driver to make his way back to the start line.
Wang Fu with Thin.
Yeah, Tanawat. Well, his first name.
You imagine the cost, Ian, of getting that name on the back of a Premier League jersey. Just it would be in a circle by the end, I think.
It would certainly be in a circle.
But hey, let's see if he can make a name for himself, an even bigger name than his literal name is. This second run and a nice entry from the Thai driver right out to the edge of the track. That's a really good job of keeping a close proximity of that wild entry. This is the toughest part of the track. Nice delayed transition from Tatterson, very controlled here. And if we head to this last one, the transition will be very important. Tatterson goes wide, stays wide. A little bit of a hesitation from the lead driver and the chase driver there as on and off the power. Looks to me like Tatterson looking very strong towards the last 10% of that course. And that's it, Ian. You know, you got to leave that exclamation mark just in that last corner. If you can come across real strong, last thing in the judges' minds, and naturally they're going to go way towards it. Up until then, though, very strong. Both drivers, a very good battle.
Yeah, very, very nice battle there. For me, Tatterson, I think he left a little bit out there. You know, it wasn't the cleanest chase out of some of those zones. Made a little bit of contact there in outside zone 5, but will the judges put that down to Tanawat's lead not being, 110%? Tatterson, we know, incredible driver, as we've seen already, but did he do enough in that battle there to get himself a place in the top 16?
I can imagine the conversation with the judges now is around that contact that Tatterson has on that last corner. It's something that, I missed myself on the first run through, but when I watch it back, it was a front wheel hit. It did put Thai driver offline. Is it enough to swing it over? It looks like it's not enough to swing it over, and after a good deliberation, Tatterson does get the win, continues his winning streak into the top 16. I think it's a fair call. I think over the 2 runs, probably the stronger driver. Made his errors, though. He'll want to tidy them up for the rest of the competition. And we now go back to the one more time battle. Where we had the first ever, I think probably the first ever technical difficulty or mechanical difficulty in the virtual championship. The driver is having an issue with their steering wheel. Reset everything. Here we are. It is Brazilian Machado ready to chase in. Ripney, I got left behind a little bit on the first time. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Just got this habit of spinning a little bit of wheels on the way up the scene.
Yeah, he certainly does. Look at this. Oh, contact with the wall, though. Contact with Rapina. Oh, and he pushes Rapina into the wall.
Big error from Machado there.
Yeah, Machado makes a massive error. Oh, he's going to do it again. Goes for the dive once again onto the door. Rapina holds on to it, though. Keeps himself in the zone and in the outside zone. Machado there just making a hash of that one, Dave. Just throwing it all away.
Yeah, coming in like a wrecking ball into the first corner. You can see smoking wheels. It's all impact. It's all aggression, but a little bit too much aggression comes in. Hits the wall. Hits Rapina. Straightens up. Hits him again. Puts him in the wall. It's an absolute disaster on the first corner. And next thing you know, it's going to be probably a massive disadvantage. And another piece of contact there. Not as significant. But I think Rapina is just, a good thing I'm wearing a helmet here because this guy is absolutely smashing the doors off the car. The judges don't like it. It's definitely affecting the lead driver and it's affecting the big way in the first corner. I can imagine Rapina having all the advantage here so far.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. So Rapina now in that chase just needs to give his call, not get too close, not make too much contact as they come down. Rapina, being Rapina, well, he wants to win this fair and square. He's going to get as close as he can, try and lay down some authority. And you can see out of that outside zone, though, is Machado to come through that inside pivot point. Full throttle transition, up the wall they go. Rapina now starts to dive up to the side of the S15. Look to the front wheel once again as Rapina wants to put an exclamation mark, stamp his authority all over this as he goes front wheel to front wheel.
I think that's, as you said, an exclamation mark. I think that's going to be the deciding factor. And Rapina didn't need to go too close. He doesn't have the greatest of first corners, but with a big mistake on the table from Machado in the first round, I think he's going to say, hey, just do enough here to stay in the fight and keep going. And that's exactly what he did. Puts in a bit of an exclamation mark. I'm not a big fan of the front wheel to front wheel stuff there at the end, but yeah, Rapina is probably going to take this one, but it might not be the key to the victory.
You can see the contact playing out more and more there. Those guys make their way across the finish line. One more decision left to go until top 16 is decided, and there we go. Rapina from Poland gets the win and advances through. Dave, that is it. Top 16 is decided.
Well, from my perspective, that was an exciting top 32. I enjoyed it. I'm hoping you guys at home are enjoying it. If you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, shout out. Hello. Where are you watching from? I want to know. We're watching the comment. And I'm so glad we got through that top 32. In my opinion, Ian, with some of the best driving we've seen, better than last year. So if that's just the top 32, what is the top 16 going to bring? We got some big names in there, and we've got our defending champion in there as well. So we're going to be back very, very soon with more action from round one of the Drift Masters 2022 Championship. Don't go anywhere. Me and Ian, we're getting excited. We're going to get ourselves a beverage, and we are going to be ready for action top 16 next.
LIQUI.EU produce standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Renowned for quality, reliability and value, our easily installed ECUs come with numerous motorsport and engine protection features, giving complete control of your engine's power and performance. Plus, our tech support team are available 24 hours a day to help you create the perfect solution for your engine setup. To see our full range of products and for more information, visit LIQUI.EU.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to round one of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. Do not adjust your phone or your screen. We are on an aircraft carrier because we're in the virtual world, and we're in the virtual world, we're having some real drifting. We're having some real battles here as we head towards our top 16, presented by LIQUI.EU. And I'll tell you one thing, we've got a massive lineup here trying to aim for that top step of the first round of the championship. Last year, drivers were eliminated and they didn't come back into the championship. This year, it is very much an open championship. Over 100 drivers entered qualifying today. 32 made the battles. We are now down to 16. So it goes to show the cream has risen here, Ian, and we are now going to see guys for the second time get a little bit of a feel of their style and a feel of how much of the claim they can put to that trophy. Start off with Zach Sullivan looking incredibly impressive in the top 32 battle. Went up against Cameron Mustard. He's always turning up the heat, but he is now going to be in the chase position here against the highest qualifier in qualifying. So let's see how he gets on here. Come up through the gears, through the chicane, to that first corner.
Yeah, here we go. Zach O'Sullivan, the American, in that big Mark IV Supra, doing a sterling job so far, looking very good. Onto that wall he goes, outside zone, but Cameron Mustard looking for the door, absolutely hungry for it as he dives through. Big angle, both cars, as these guys now not messing around. Top 16, things are starting to heat up, as Dave says, with the Mustard absolutely gluing it to the door. Zach O'Sullivan drags him across the line.
Maybe Scottish, I would imagine, with his Scottish flag on the roof.
Yep.
And you know what? That lead run, though, for me, absolutely flawless. As you can see him come around. It's like Zach is almost on rails at this point. He's got this course figured out. It's really the chase position he's going to have to do his work. But, I mean, to be honest, from Cameron Mustard's point of view, didn't do a whole lot wrong. Had a great lead run to chase. To be honest, nothing to report home from the chase position of any mistakes. Could he have been a bit closer? Well, Zach O'Sullivan's going to tell us. Zach O'Sullivan is going to reverse off the ship. You can see he's taking that much of a run in now in the chase position. Try and keep with that lead car. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, he's absolutely foot flat to the floor. Needs to pick up as much speed as he can. Looks for that initiation. Nice job, though, from Cameron Mustard as he gets onto that wall nice and deep. Look at this from Zach O'Sullivan, though. Just getting close enough to almost make contact, but keeps clear and lets Sullivan make that transition. Oh, Sullivan backs it into the wall. Upsets his line ever so slightly as a big transition coming up now. Both these guys, Zach O'Sullivan can smell blood in the water as he can see the front wheel as they come across the line. Incredible job for both these guys.
Brilliant stuff, and I think you're right, Ian. I think you pointed out there. I think that little bump on the wall from Cameron, his lead run for that first corner is exceptional, right out to the edge of the track. Sullivan's right there with him, but watch this. Goes a little too fast, Mustard, as he transitions back, and boom, hits the wall, and has to straighten the car up a little bit. That's a mistake by even layman terms. You know, if you're watching on, it's your first virtual drift championship you're watching. Me and Ian, who should know better most of the time of how these things are going to go, but I think even we can predict that one. And you're going to make a mistake like that at this level, it's probably going to cost you. And I think this Zach O'Sullivan guy is looking like the one to beat right now. 2 wins, top qualifier, looking comfortable in that big Mark IV Supra. He goes on to our top 8. Wow, big result there. And he looks strong in 2021. He's looking even stronger in 2022. He's probably sitting at home, you know, with a sandwich, watching that YouTube video from Reese Patterson out driving Peter Gein's car, saying, hey, it's going to be me. I'm going to put the hours in. These guys have been practicing hours and hours, night after night, to get as good as they can be. But when the pressure's on in these, you know, really sort of high pressure situations, when the moments count rather than the days, you know, that's when it really matters. And we've got 2 incredible machines that go back up to the line again. We have got Goonin, looked very strong and very smooth in this GCR in the top 32. The Russian goes up against the Hungarian Stelagi. I'm going to go with Stelagi on. And he's in the HGK, he's in the HGK Eurofighter as they come off the start line. Liking this progression from the off as he goes into that first corner. Big angle though from Goonin as he takes it into that first corner. A little bit of left foot brake, face car getting nice and close and comfortable as they pass over that LIQUI.EU logo on the ground as they transition back. Check this out, big angle again. Goonin, great job there on and off the throttle as he plays with that huge amount of power he's got in that car, but a great job, big 2 from Hungarian. Stelagi as he comes across line, right on the door as he comes across line. Great stuff. And I love this progression from the off Hungarian, almost tagging the back bumper on initiation. Loses him a little bit there, but the big angle from Goonin, that was what impressed me in the first corner. Almost 90 degrees and collecting those 2 outer zones. Builders are going to like that, Ian.
Yeah, very, very nice job there. And Goonin looks very, very strong out front. That big GTR. Not easy to handle, but look at this. Fires it in, gets the job done. Very nice job. Szilagyi, though, gets it across the line. Look, tugs the front wheel right into the pocket. Nice. Nice. Things are heating up, Dave. Top 16, not messing around with. They swap them around. It will be Szilagyi now to lead out Goonin in that GTR. Goonin not taking the opportunity to take the run up as most of the guys have been doing. Goes onto the back bumper. Nice initiation. You can see Goonin there just holding back, waiting for Szilagyi to set that E92 Eurofighter up. You can see goes on a weird line, transitions a little bit late, stays off the wall. Now shallows up, a little tap onto the door from Goonin as they transition. He's outside zone 5, almost an over rotation from Szilagyi, saves it. That upsets Goonin, and I think that is it. I think that is the big deciding factor in that battle.
It is. I mean, up till that point, I was still leading with the Russian driver there. It's the initiation and getting out nice and close to the wall. Nice on the lead run here from Szilagyi. And watch this on the transition, though. Goonin, nice timing here. Just gets it absolutely right. Stays with that lead driver. But it looks to me like Szilagyi slows a little there. This is where he makes a big mistake. Way too much angle. I actually think Goonin hit the front of his car, stops him from spinning, but it's not going to stop him from getting a big deduction from the judges. I think that's going to be another obvious call. And we aren't getting too many of them tonight, so the judges will take a breath every time they get one and say, oh, at least they kind of work that one out for themselves. And it is going to be the Russian Goonin going into the top 8, well deserved. A little over rotation from Szilagyi knocks him out of competition in top 16. And an interesting one lining up on the start line. Two guys, I've been looking at this in the bracket saying this is going to be interesting. Didn't know a whole lot about Brandon Gardner until tonight. He looked very strong in that Infinity, very smooth. Goes up against Alan Hines. Alan Hines, who probably has the most incredible ability here, but he has been known to make small errors in the past and knock himself out of competition. See how this game of chess plays out.
Here we go, down they come. Alan Hines fighting for a place in that great 8. But look at this, Brandon Gardner not messing around, gets that Infinity right up onto the side of that S15. Brandon Gardner knows what Alan Hines is capable of. Look at he knows Hines fires that car down onto the wall, keeps the hold of it, transitions back. Alan Hines keeps the ball, keeps into it. Gardner gets the front end of that Infinity right up onto the door. A little bit of separation opens up for Gardner, gets himself back into the mix once again.
Incredible stuff. And what I liked is on that last outer zone, Hines right on the edge of the circuit, wider than anyone else. And I mean, that lead run there, look how wide he is to that wall. That's the perfect line there from Alan Hines, allowing smooth run through that first corner, giving Gardner everything to look at there. Gardner does a good job here in the chase, but he transitions a little early for me. He kind of wind it in. Hines stays out nice and wide. Watch how wide Hines is here. If this was a wall, he would be right on the edge of it the whole way around. Gardner doing a good job in the chase, but not really forcing it home. Then, as I mentioned before, Gardner has used that consistency to win a battle here tonight already. Hines, will he go too aggressive in the chase now? I think he's got the job done in the lead. He's got to manage his aggression here. Let's see what happens.
Here we go through. They go down from the chicane, goes Gardner, looking strong. Can he hold on to it? Needs to be super confident. Oh, 90 degrees to the wall. Hines over 90 degrees. Puts that car at risk. A little tag onto the side of Gardner's Infinity. They come through that front gripping point. Both guys absolutely dialed right now. They get into it. Separation as Hines gets himself in front of the lead car. He do that on purpose for the transition. Looks like it worked out perfectly for Alan Hines. He gets onto the front wheel where Gardner has nowhere to hide.
An incredible lead run from Gardner here, right from the off. I mean, I absolutely love the initiation. Look at the angle. Scrapes the wall. Absolutely perfect. Didn't get as wide as Hines did there, but does collect. Gets a little late to outer zone 2. Tags the wall, does a good job. Hines here, playing a little bit of cat and mouse, gets through here. Goes a little bit too early for me on the inside of this corner, but he makes it work. And he times this transition pretty good. A little bit of a mistake, I think, getting too caught on the inside, but he had the proximity on the rest of the run. So the judges will have to have a good think about this one, see which way they're going to go. Absolutely love though seeing these. I'm not going to say veterans. Alan Hines, definitely a lot younger than me, but a veteran of the virtual drift world going up against the newcomer Brandon Gardner shows that every year we start making some new names. Ian, new guys pop up, and the same as the real drift world. And which way are the judges going to go? And there you have it. It's
Wow.
Gardner getting win. You know what? I can see it. That mistake on Hines going on the inside of that corner. He mistimed the transition, got himself caught, had to almost stall up. Look how small a mistake knocked you out of this competition. We move on to our next battle. It's going to be Gron from Poland taking on Zemski from Poland. So an all Polish battle. I'm Gron getting through the last time on some sheer consistency, not making errors, letting the other driver do the hard work. And Zemski wasn't flawless, wasn't perfect. Gonna have to start tidying up a little bit too. So here's two guys now with still a lot to prove off the line.
Kept from in that lead line. Look at this. Zemski, though, goes for the back bumper. Shallows up the angle. Very cleverly done. Look to wait to see what the lead car was doing now. Starts to get himself into the zone. Finds himself up onto the side of the S14. Perfect transition to Zemski. Very calculated on that transition. Look once again for the time. Stalls the car up. Gets himself into outside zone 5. Grom not doing a whole lot wrong in that lead position, but he's opening the door for that chase driver to get right up and personal.
Very good driving from both of these guys, and definitely tidying up some errors from their first battle in the top 32. Zemski, I mean, comes in on shot. I like what you're saying, Ian, about him kind of weighing up the lead driver, but I'd like to see a little bit more commitment there. Coming in on matching angle or big angle, just taking, a throw of the dice. For the rest of the course, he's very calculated, gets right up close and personal. Gron, to me, stays probably a little too late on the transition there, stays too wide. A big snappy transition to get back. Makes it work, though. Doesn't upset the chase driver too much, so I think still a lot to play for here.
Yes, still everything to play for. A spot in the great 8 awaits. Who's going to take it? Will it be Zemski? Will it be Gron? Will it be a Polish driver? For sure. All Polish head to head right now as they come down. Gron not smoking the tyres, stays onto the rear quarter. They fire in for outside zone 1. Zemski a little bit shy on those clipping points, gets to outside zone 2 a little bit too early. Now makes a transition back, gets into outside zone 4 though perfectly. Puts the floor, waits for transition. Grom right on the back bumper, shallows up now, looks to the front wheel. Grom goes to make the move as Zemski absolutely flies through the finish line.
He pushed through the finish line so fast he couldn't even hold on to the car. Incredible stuff. Nice one. Gron a little bit shallow on initiation, very similar. When you switch the two guys around, a little bit of a bump there. I like it. Judges might not like it as much. I like the transition though. Very well timed. Gron matches the pace. It's really, really up close and personal. And then in the last corner, just dives through, gets up onto the door. Gron, didn't show a lot of aggression in his top 32 battle. Now starting to wind it up. Another tough one from the judges' side. Something tells me it's not going to get any easier for Kerry.
No, I think he's just going to get tougher decisions and tougher calls, and maybe some one more times as we move further and further through competition. Start whittling these guys down to the top 4, best of the best.
So I think for me, Gron had a lot of very smooth moves there. I mean, he was siding towards the end of outer zone 2. He transitioned almost, bumper to bumper, and then a bit of proximity. Then to Zemski, he's a bit more calculated, doesn't make as many errors. I didn't like Gron's transition in the lead position a little bit late. So which way will the judges go on this one? And it is going to be to Zemski getting the win. And yeah, that Gron, the transition, that little, those little mistakes, those little bumps, those little bits of proximity is great. Contact is not, and that might have been all she wrote. He bows out in the top 16, and Zemski goes on to our top 8. So we have got a lot of our drivers getting caught out a little bit by over-aggression at this point. And you know what? It is always what we talk about. But right now we have got 4 drivers into our top 8. We're ready to send the next, but we're going to take a small break beforehand with a couple of words from our partners. Don't go anywhere. It's getting exciting now. We're going to find out who's going to win this thing. We're back soon. And we are back heading into the second half of our top 16 here at round one of the Drift Masters Virtual Championship. We hope you guys are enjoying it. We are enjoying it. We're now into the business end. These guys have all won a battle each, but now they've got to come over another driver who's also won a battle. We move on to the Russian Agora taking on Hungary's Finger. And both of these guys were sensational in the top 32. Only one of them is going to get through this battle and make it to the top 8. We are crawling closer and closer to the podium. One mistake can count you out of competition. Ian, I'm looking forward to it from here because we have started to get a feel for these drivers. Who's got what it takes?
Yeah, they're starting to make a name for themselves, Dave, and we're starting to find out who they are and what their driving styles is. Up next, though, Agora take on Eppinger. Eppinger in that lead position. There's a lot of people shouting out Oliver Eppinger in the comments on YouTube. So a big name. Look at that, 90 degrees to the wall. No messing around. Separation. The first time we've seen separation on that lead run, but he was out of outside zone 2, though. And now Agora starts to make a move, starts to find it back. Fires that S15 up on the side of that big Mark IV Supra into outside zone 5. Goes Eppinger. Eppinger puts foot to the floor. Almost contact as Agora stamps his approval on that run.
Yeah, Gorov did a great job in the proximity stakes. It lost a little in the first corner. There was a lot of work to put the corner massively. And Eppinger just at the end of that course, they're not as deep as we'd like to see him, but Gorov did have to put the course quite a bit to get back into this one. When he did get back into it, though, the proximity was phenomenal. Watch this transition. Waits, positions at the same time as the lead car, right up onto the door. Barely an inch between them as they come across the line. Finger could have been a little wider on his lead run. Gorov left napping a little bit on the start line, just didn't get into the battle as quick as we would have liked. Still all to play for here in the second half.
Yeah, it certainly is, Dave. So off the start line they come. We switch them around, almost contact. Look at that. Finger very aggressive. Not sure what happened there. I'd like to see an alternative camera view of those two on that first full contact now as Eppinger starts to force some pressure into the corner of Agora as they get into that wall. Both guys tapping the wall there once again. This one aggressive, looking dirty as these guys not messing around. They want a spot in that top 8 to get into the outside zone and go wheel to wheel across the line.
I think Epinger's hit the wall on the initiation. I think that's going to be all she wrote. Watch this, the chase car, bam, hit the wall.
Oh yeah,
break and straighten up. I think that's the biggest mistake of the two runs, and another bit of contact as he cuts across the corner. So I think that's enough for me. And I think he panicked a little bit at that point. He knows he made a mistake. He's trying to overdrive the car a little bit. I think that's the biggest mistake of the two runs, and that's probably what the judges are going to focus on here.
Yeah, 100%, Dave. There's too many mistakes there. You can see as more and more the run went on, how many times he hit that wall. Judges will be looking at every single mistake he makes.
But he does have a very cool car, so there's always a consolation. The car looks amazing. He's got a Mark IV Supra with incredible livery on it as well. So I mean, Itasha, is that what it's called? The livery style. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is who's going through to the top 8. Agorov goes through to the top 8, and that to me is the obvious collision with the wall.
Yeah.
Finger, and that's him out of competition. And you know what? I think if you get an S body and put AMOL on the side of it, you do pretty good going in the real world. So we move on to our next battle. Here's one that went on for a while. I think both of these guys maybe scoring one more time. Top 32. It's Polish driver Krazinsky. He's going into the lead position, that 370Z. He's going up against the Belarus driver Yakovitch. And Yakovitch is in that almost Kavabata looking S15 in the chase run. Here we go into the first quarter. Big entry, big angle. Willie hanging out there. Oh, barely gets into outer zone 2. Krazinsky as they transition back, and you can see the chase driver going to get up close and personal, but not with a lot of angle. Back around here. It's a little bit scrappy, this one, from start to finish, and on the inside of the course again, Yakovitch, they come across the line, and not a fan of the first corner from the Polish driver. Once again here in an alternate angle, switches it in. I think gets away from the zone, a little bit too early, and he's on big angle, just about gets into that outer zone. Not too bad. Maybe looked worse on first glance. And in the chase position, not a lot of angle from Yakovitch. He kind of lurching on the inside with very little angle, and I want to see that chase car mirror more. Yeah,
very, very strange for me, Dave. I just couldn't really get my head around it. A lot of mistakes from both guys, but for me, Yakovitch making more errors. Shallow angle, didn't really get himself into the fight. Krazinsky, though, just about, I think, clawed himself into, a few more points in his half of the bag. Lights go on. They come off the line. It will be Yakovitch to lead out Krazinsky in that 370Z. Big initiation, but look at Krazinsky in the middle of the track, handbraking almost in a straight line. There's going to be a big deduction. This one not going to end pretty for either of these drivers. Can the judges even make a decision? Just about scrape the wheels into the outside zone now as they go for the transition back. Outside zone 5, Krazinsky to the side of Yakovitch's S15. Can he get there? He certainly can. But did he do it nicely? I'm not sure he did.
I think it's a big mistake from the chase driver. He just missed times. It almost hits the back of the lead car, gets stuck in the middle of the track. That's a big error. Just mistimed his initiation. Got it all wrong. Here on out, judges have already kind of made up their mind. I mean, that's a big error unless something dramatic happens. Yakovitch, not 100% perfect everywhere, but a very strong lead run all the same. I think judges are going to make an easier call here than they thought they might have to make here, heading towards the top 8. But yeah, from my perspective, I think that's going to fall on the blue car, the S15. In my opinion, again, my opinion counts for very little. My opinion doesn't make you win any trophy. It's what the guys with the buttons of power.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be Yakovitch who takes the win. There we go. Decisions in, Dave. It is Yakovitch from Belarus takes the win and advances through to the Great 8.
We've got 2 more drivers aside for our quarterfinals. 2 more battles in our top 16. It starts with this one. The big old JZX. It is driver Abramov goes against Rapina from Poland. And Rapina had a couple of wobbles. And both of these guys, to be fair, had a couple of wobbles. I think Abramov probably looking the more consistent. He's checking his steering there on the start line. He's giving himself a big run in here to make sure he stays on point. And Rapina, it looks like he's got to tidy up some errors from the first run, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, Rapina looking good, looking strong. Nice initiation. Abramov, though, going for it. Absolutely firing that big Toyota Chaser and mirrors the angle absolutely perfectly as they come through. Shallows up, waits for the transition, makes it happen. Look at this. Oh, he's into the wall, though. Into the wall and tags the front end of Rapina's BMW. That's going to be a big mistake. Did he do it again then on that transition? They get into outside zone 5. Gets himself back into the mix, but there's a few errors creeping in there, Dave.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest of runs from either driver. And I think what I didn't like was the side-by-side entry from Abramov. He kind of stayed in the middle of the track, made it difficult for him to get back in the outer zones. And then as he comes through, I mean, it's a big car to maneuver, but he does really well here. But he tags the wall, hits the other car, and I think if he's in an S chassis or a smaller BMW, he gets away with that one. But he's chosen to be in this big JZX Chaser, and fortunately for him, he had just more boot than anyone else, and he didn't get away with it.
Well, there we go. Around back on the line they go. Rapina, for me, I believe he's sitting there thinking, what do I need to do? Do I need to play it safe? Just keep close enough. Let Abramov make the mistakes in that lead position. We're going to find out. Fires it in. Oh, look at the angle from Rapina. Fires in, goes for the kill, goes to make the move and prove to the judges why he should be in that Great 8. Through the smoke he comes, late entry into that outside zone from Abramov as he makes contact with the front end of Rapina's BMW. Now Rapina being too aggressive on that transition. We need to see a replay of that one.
I think Rapina's been too aggressive, though. I mean, I'm impressed, but I think he's been too aggressive nearly the whole way around the track. I mean, he had a massive advantage in the first run, and this is all going to come down to this last transition of who was at fault. But Rapina doing an amazing job, but he makes contact there
as well.
That is a mistake. And then let's see, does he come in too close? I think he's in too close. Actually comes. Wow. Now, to be fair, even those two hits probably not as big an error as what the other driver had, because obviously he straightened up completely. But yeah, he made hard work of the decision when it really should have been an easy one. You're just going to have a look at this. 2 small errors versus 1 big error. Does that balance off? Does that make it even? I think Rapina tried way too hard on that chase run. I think he needed to just back off a little bit. But he was trying to impress us, Ian, and you know what? I was impressed. So there you go. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished, yeah.
We don't like seeing the boring run. We don't like seeing the boring
run.
We like to see guys do 100%. And I think that's what he did. And it is going to be a one more time. I can see that. A big mistake in contact from both drivers, and 2 small errors make up 1 big error, and here we go again. So we will teleport our 2 drivers from the start. This is a great thing. Gridding is a cinch when it comes to the virtual world. These guys could just disappear from the start line, which is fantastic. So, and we don't have to go for fuel and tires, which is always the boring part of real drifting. We've got to wait for everybody to keep their cars going. So we will go straight back to the start line and get these boys going again. Rapina, you know, if it was me, you know, I think he's got to do exactly what he's got to back off on the aggression chase. But Abramov now cannot afford to make big contact with the same errors.
No, he certainly can't, Dave. Rapina needs to do that 100-point qualifying run that he laid down in the first half of the battle, but not open the door too much for Amirov to get up close and personal, and then not be too aggressive in the chase. Nicely done so far. It gets out of outside zone 4. A little bit too early for me, as Rapina makes it work, though. Transitions nicely into outside zone 5. Goes back to the floor. Abramov, though, in that chase position right there with him, not letting him escape this time.
Yeah, big step up in class here. On the second run, you can see Abramov doing a good job. This is what I like on the initiation. He went in with the same angle as the lead car, went in with proximity, didn't take the safe approach of just kind of seeing what will happen. And in this transition, he now realized I don't need to go as deep with my car because it's too big, and he gets it right. And Rapina's used to comes a little early out of there, but Abramov was able to deal with it. That's a perfect chase for me and a very solid lead run. Both guys stepping up from the first battle. Now all of that goes back to the team who has to put in a close chase run, but somehow has to stop making contact. So let's see what he does.
Yeah, this one's going to come down to who makes an error first, or who makes the error. That's what I'm going to be looking for, Dave, as they fire down. Look at this. Amirov fires that car in bumper onto the wall. Rapina in the middle of the circuit starts to make an error straight away. Amirov looking strong as he pulls the front end of that chaser into that outside, inside zone 1. Nicely done into the outside zone. Now Rapina not messing around. No mistakes as of yet. Nice transition back. Rapina looks for the side of that Toyota Chaser as Amirov puts foot to floor and across the line. I think it's going to come down to that one mistake on the beginning of the run, Dave.
I was just about to say, I think Rapina's line here is where I would just watch this. On the middle of the track, goes on too much angle and kind of in no man's land. Now he does a brilliant job of getting back into the fight. If you look at the initiation from Abramov, he's right on the edge of this person, getting out of zone 1 and he's on the door. So he's not adjusting the car as to get that perfect chase run. That may be enough across both runs. It's the thing we're zoning in on because, to be honest, everything else was pretty up by the book and very, very good. So let's see which way the judges go. We have another competitor going through to our top 8, but who's it going to be? And it is indeed going to be Abramov. And you know what? That was close. I was nearly swinging with Rapina when it came to the first battle, but it goes to show when we went back at it again, it was Abramov with more consistency across the 2 runs. Right call made by the judges as we move into a very interesting battle between the Swedish driver Jagard and the driver from Great Britain, Tatterson. He's the defending champ. He's got the target on his back, and he's got a tough competitor here in Jagard. If he produces any of the magic we saw from the top 32 here in the top 16, he's going to be a real challenge for Tatterson from the off.
He certainly is, Dave. Well, lights are lighting up, and here we go. Tatterson left sleeping a little bit on the line there, waited for the lights to go all the way up before he even made a move. Nice initiation, though. Jagard fires that car in a little bit too much angle. He's going to come in hot now into outside zone 2. Jagard styles it out, gets the angle dialed, and mirrors Tatterson's perfect lead line. Oh, Tatterson just flirting with danger there, dialing the angle on as he gets into outside zone 5. Oh, and Jagard goes hot and heavy into it, as Jagard absolutely throws caution to the wind to try and force an error in to Tatterson's way.
I mean, probably try to do too much at the end of the run. The big angle on the initiation makes it work. Tatterson could have been a little wider for P2 in that lead position. Nothing too untoward there, though. As they transition back, Jagard goes right to the wall there, keeps it moving, doesn't get caught on the inside of the track. That's what we want to see. But does a big dive here, and this, to me, it's a bit of an error. He's on the inside of the track in the wrong place. He's not affecting the lead car, though. He is picking up proximity points. He doesn't make contact. The line is not perfect. That's the only real thing I can pull from that one. But I think it's going to come down to Tatterson here. He's got to go big. He's got to go hard. He's got to go close. Now make contact. Can he do it?
Caution to the wind and throw everything he's got at it. Look at this from Jagard as he fires big angle at it. Tatterson shallows up, waits for it, holds on to see what Jagard can do, and now matches the angle. Jagard goes very shallow on the angle on the transition across the centre of the circuit. Oh, and contact from Tatterson as he almost pushes Jagard in the transition into place as he goes wheel to wheel across the line. Tatterson door on door.
It's incredible proximity from Tatterson. Watch this though. Jagard good on the first, too much angle. I think he missed a bit of outer zone 2 here. I think he's not really in there or close to the wall. Tatterson does a good job of staying on the inside. This transition exceptional. There's going to be a little bit of contact here, but for me, Jager almost stalling up on angle a little bit. Doesn't affect the lead car. Tatterston from here, though, absolutely perfect. Right on the perfect line on the chase run. I think, although Jager was incredible across the 2 runs, Tatterston had more aggression. I think, is that what the judges are going to weigh this one on? I mean, there's a bit of contact with Tatterston. I don't think it was enough to affect the lead car. It was an error, balanced by the aggression. I don't know, Ian. I just don't know.
So much going on. Here we go. Judges know, though, and it will be Reese Tatson taking the win and advancing through into the Grade 8, and the storm continues to blow Tatson's way.
Absolutely. And I mean, look, he finishes as the winner of last season. He now moves on to an incredible achievement, which is now to get to the top 8 straight from the off. Definitely the guy to beat right now. But you know what? A couple of moments in there that show some chinks in the armor. We're back with our top 8 very soon, guys. Don't go anywhere. 8 drivers remain from 100 starts this morning. Who's going to take it to the podium? We're about to find out.
LIQUI.EU produce standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Renowned for quality, reliability and value, our easily installed ECUs come with numerous motorsport and engine protection features, giving complete control of your engine's power and performance. Plus, our tech support team are available 24 hours a day to help you create the perfect solution for your engine setup. To see our full range of products and for more information, visit LIQUI.EU.com.
one mistake, watch from every lap, one little wall. Skills guys, their own all over the world. And good morning. Gunning for the gunning top spot. I'll say that in because he's gonna attack whoever takes down the mistake will be babe. I think he's strong. But second line.
Yeah, here we go. Dave Sullivan looking stronger than ever. First place qualifier, looking like your number one right now. Look at that back end of super on the wall, but he's got a really tough contender. Pavel Goonin, as Goonin goes for it, goes absolutely, mirrors the angle, goes for the wheel, and goes for the kill shot as he dives in once again on outside zone 5. Pavel Goonin is absolutely gunning for this one, Dave.
From the off, that's where it's all about. Right on the door, mirrors the car, circling back and forward on the brake, going. That big car is very dreadful shape.
Yeah, O'Sullivan is, you know, look, number one qualifier. He's got the target on his back. Reece Tatterson, he was the man. But if you come into this competition at round 1 and stamp your authority and take out first place qualifier, you know, everyone kind of wants to take you down. And O'Sullivan, for me, needs to put in a chase run of his life.
But got to find.
Yeah, he certainly has, Dave, and he's going to try and find it. Look at that big flick, though, from Goonin. Goonin puts that car 90 degrees to the wall. O'Sullivan, though, not faced, holds onto it, lets him do his move as O'Sullivan now waits for the transition, gets himself into the mix. Look at the transition from O'Sullivan up to the wall. Oh, contact! Contact from O'Sullivan on the rear wheel of that R35 GTR. O'Sullivan gets back onto the rear wheel and across the line. I'm not sure, Dave, what is going to happen there. So there we go. You can see Dave's having a few technical difficulties at the moment. I'm going to keep you in with the action. Look at that run from Goonin in that lead position. Sullivan doing an incredible job. That dive, like Dave said, in that chase from Goonin, but that was it for me. That was the mistake. Did O'Sullivan just try to force his hand ever slightly too much? Well, we're about to find out. Run is done.
I hope you can hear me.
Judge's decision. So, yep, Dave is back. You are back, Dave.
Yeah, tumbled into the matrix there for a moment, but I'm back to the decision. And here we go. It is going to be good. And there's a big upset. And I know what I said, whoever takes down Sullivan would be our number one contender. And look who it is. The guy that hasn't put a foot wrong. Goonin has looked incredible the whole way through. And it goes to show you don't need these small cars to make a big impact. Here's another big one lining up. It's going to be Brandon Gardner from the USA, another driver who hasn't put a foot wrong, up against Zemski. You know what? I'm leaning towards Gardner here. If you're going on previous form from the last 2 battles, hasn't made a mistake. Zemski's got to be at his best.
Certainly has, Dave, and we've known him to be a little bit shy, holding back a little bit. He needs to go all in on this one and throw everything he's got at it, including the kitchen sink. And once again, you can see a little separation in that proximity as Zemski holds on and waits for that lead car to get himself settled. Gardner, though, won't mess around. Look at lying onto that wall. Incredible for Gardner. Gardner now transitions into the outside zone 5. Perfect job. Rear wing hanging over the edge of the circuit. Zemski just doesn't have the form.
Zemski, for me, it's just this initiation. If you watch, he stays very central on the track. Initiation is so far away from the outer zone that he has to brake a little bit more than the lead car. Does a good job, though, of getting to outer zone 2. But again, he's just not as aggressive on the transitions. Watch, he comes back, backs off a little bit. When he gets in there, this was good for me. Best moment of the run for Zemski as they transition back. But Gardner is just painting those 2 rear wheels right on the outside of the circuit. A little wobble from Gardner in the lead there from he dials off a little bit of angle, but very, very small error in what was the perfect lead run. Zemski's going to have to be exceptional here. He's going to have to go to the walls. He's going to have to put a big angle in. And that for me is initiation. He's not putting in big angle initiation. I think the judges are expecting that. Seeing that from most of the lead and chase drivers now. Gardner's got a chance here to make a big name for himself to go to the top 4 rather.
Oh, yeah, certainly has, Dave. Waits for the transition, throws more angle at it. Oh, did he make contact though with the back end as Zemski BMW? Wait to see if the replay of that one. Nevertheless, they get themselves back into it. A wobble across the centre of the circuit as Zemski gets himself into the outside zone. Gardner holds on, waits, looks for the transition, perfectly timed. Knows that Sullivan made a mistake there. Doesn't have that proximity though. Starts to rein him in and just gives him a tap on the door across the line.
I think that's initiation. It's all here. Watch this from the chase car. What does he do here? He hits the wall and he backs off a little bit. He gets away with it, but it is an error. He's not as smooth through that first zone as Gardner would have liked. And the first mistake we've seen from him all night. It might just be enough for the judges to say, hey, he came in, he hit the wall, straightened up a little bit. Is that enough to knock him out of competition? Zemski, not sensational, but he's holding on here and he's doing the right things in the right place. Judges will have a look at this one and we will see which way it's going to go. Gardner has an error on initiation. Is that enough to knock him out of competition? It's a one more time from the judges. They want to see it go. It's not enough, and that's what I think that's a fair call. I think Zemski not pushing to the limit, sort of waiting for the other driver to make the mistake. Gardner does make the mistake. Not enough over the two runs, I think, to balance off maybe a lack of commitment throughout the whole course for Zemski. I think Zemski's just going to have to understand now that he's up against an opponent that he can't back away from. He's going to have to push it. He's going to have to go to somewhere he's a little uncomfortable with. It might pay off and it might not. But I expect fireworks one more time.
Yep, so Zemski, like you say, Dave, he's going to have to put himself in an uncomfortable position and just try and put as much pressure as he can on the American brand Gardner right now as they come through. Chicane down the start line into that initiation point, onto the wall goes Brandon Gardner, textbook as always. And now look at this, Zemski starts to put himself in a place he's never been before, and that's right up onto the door. He feels uncomfortable, but he's going to make it work. Onto the wall they go, where separation opens up as Zemski waits for this transition, and he forces the judge's hand his way as he goes onto the front wheel. Looks for the door, Brandon Gardner all the way to the edge of the circuit across the line.
That's what we wanted to see from Zemski. Lots of aggression. On his initiation, watch follows the lead car in a little bit better here. Get the wheel into outer zone. That worked better for him. Starting to learn that that's a better line. Big angle from Gardner on initiation. It's absolutely ridiculous. But Zemski here, watch on the transition. Matching the speed, matching the angle. Very fluid. Waits a little bit for the transition here, but I think that's just a bigger car in front of him. Had to wait for it. Dives in, gets up onto the front wheel. Doesn't make contact. That is a brilliant chase run from Zemski. Gardner's in trouble now.
He certainly is. Gardner really needs to sit back and think and hope that he can get himself into the pocket, into the groove, onto the side of that BMW, the Polish driver, as they come off the line, down through the gears they go. Zemski looks for the initiation, but Gardner's right with him. Gardner's right onto the side. Look at this, waits for Zemski to get himself set up. Nice line from both guys in outside zone 2, and a perfect line through that front clipping point. Look at the transition from Gardner. No messing around, onto the wall, onto the door. He's going to time it perfectly once again, and Gardner wants it. He's hungry for it as he looks for the door of that BMW. Onto the rear quarter he goes and across the line.
Oh, another very tough battle to the side. Zemski nice on the initiation. Not a lot of angle from Zemski on that initiation. That's just the one thing I would separate in his style from maybe Gardner coming in almost at 90 degrees. Zemski a little bit more attentive to get it right. Get it right he does, but Gardner's transition, as you mentioned, absolutely sensational there. Really fluid. It's a lot more, I would say probably, in terms of mirroring the lead car, a little bit better than Zemski. Zemski having great proximity in his run though, so let's see which way the judges go. I would not like to be calling.
No, not me, Dave. These guys have got a tough decision.
There you have it. It's Zemski getting the win. He's going through, and Zemski, you know what? He pushed himself a little bit further there than any other battle, and it paid off.
It certainly did, Dave. Gets himself into the final 4. 2 more spots to go, and we move it straight back to the line to the next battle.
Go back to the start line. It's going to be Agora against Yakovitch. Belarus versus Russia. 2 very similar cars, so 2 very similar colors. It's going to be an interesting one, you guys. I think Yakovitch is just going to find that rhythm, and he's got a good jump off the start line here as an early initiation from Kulkov goes early too, but forced to stay there in proximity. Nice angle there as you get up close to the first to the center of the circuit. Oh, and a big mistake from Agora. Oh, an absolute calamity. Hits the wall, hits the car, hits everything. put the man around the course, and that's about it. So I think that's definitely going to be over-aggressive move from Agora there, and got it all wrong.
Yeah, he certainly did, Dave, but he was wrong from the initiation. Look at this, as you mentioned, started to play catch-up straight away as Yakovitch fired the car in, got himself on a nice line, but now, look, goes for a big dive, gets the timing all wrong, and then just absolutely batters Yakovitch all the way around, resettles himself, gets back into it on the outside zone, and then right at the end of the run, gives him a little tap as well.
Yeah,
So, we swap him around.
Big advantage to Yakovitch, and we've seen this turn around too. He's got to be clever here. He wants to be close, but he doesn't need to be too close. He's probably sitting on a massive advantage. If he just gets around here, he's got to book himself a spot in the top four. If he goes too aggressive and makes a mistake, throw it all away. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens as they fire in. Nice angle from Agora in that lead position. You can see Yakovitch, though, starting to find himself, starting to get himself into it. Shallows up the angle, a little wobble. Oh, now he makes contact.
There was just no need whatsoever.
No need.
I thought he was relaxed in the first corner. I thought he was like, I'll just spectate this. Almost like a third-person camera in his own battle, and then goes way too aggressive. Watch this. Stays on the inside of the first corner. I mean, this is not great proximity, but he's not making any errors. And then watch, he starts to build up speed here on the inside of the course. Building up a lot of speed. And he transitions. He's got too much speed and just crashes in to the lead car. And I mean, I can't see this going any other way than one more time, Ian.
No, I agree, Dave. There's one way to do it, and that is to reset and go again and see if we can get a clean battle out of these two guys. Too many mistakes, and one going one way and one going the other. So the judge's decision is going to drop in.
Unless it was some major slowing from Jarvo there, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think if the judge is agreeing with us, Ian, and it's not often it happens, then we're going for a one more time. Agora, I mean, he got an absolute gift there because he was out of the competition, and especially at top 8 level. And I think when he looks back on this, Yakovitch, he's going to look at this and go, I had it in the bag. Why did I do that?
Yeah, he literally, all he had to do was put in a clean pass with some kind of proximity, and he would have been through to the final four. But nope, he decided to go a little bit too hard and try and force it his way even more. So lights light up. Here we go. Off the line they go. It will be Yakovitch to lead out Agora. Let's see if we get a clean battle this time. Door to door on the initiation. Oh, wow. But look at this. Too much angle. Yakovitch is sacrificing the outside zone. That opens up the door for Agora. Agora now looking down the side of that S15 as they get themselves into the mix. You can see Agora waiting for that transition now. No mistakes this time. Yakovitch, though, the only one making errors. They go for the floor, look for that finish line, and Agora will be taking a sigh of relief.
I mean, look at this. Yakovitch goes for the big entry, and a little bit of contact maybe there. That did Agora hit him and push him a little bit too much angle? Irregardless, they both get through that first half of the course, but it was pretty bumpy, and judges will be looking back at that. I'm just trying to think, was it too much angle from Yakovitch, or did Agora hit him a little bit to put him on too much angle? I'm so glad I don't have to make that decision. But either way, they both get through cleanly through the course and across the line. But this one's a little personal now. There's a lot of contact, there's a lot of moments, a lot of aggression. We found two guys that styles are sort of clashing a little bit right now, and a top 4 spot up the crowd.
Yes, so here we go. Two personalities at war with each other. Look at this, onto the bumper goes Yakovitch. He absolutely hunts down Agora now. Starts to get close and personal, trying to force it his way. Very close through that front gripping point. Nice transition down they go, up to the wall. No errors so far, no contact. Look at that, already anticipating the transition with Yakovitch as Agora looks for it, looks for the finish line, tries to drag himself to safety, but I don't think he's done it.
I mean, from my perspective right now, I'm going to come back to that first run and just what the judges thought happened on initiation, but there's a lot of good stuff going. Good proximity from Yakovitch. Agora doing a good job at the lead. I love the transition to the wall from Agora, but it's some angle and just absolutely smokes out the zone. So he got himself back into the fight. I, initially watching it, thought I had a winner. I'm not so sure. I think there's going to be a little bit of debate here. We love a good debating, don't we?
We do love a good debate, though. We love things to not be as simple as what everyone else assumes they would be. So we wait for the judge's decision to drop in. This one will big one. Spot in the final 4 awaits.
So, I want to big thank you to DriftGuard.com, VALINO tires, Budmat, Zemski suspension, Bimerg, and our title sponsor LIQUI.EU. And going to the top 4 is the Russian driver Agora. I can see where they've gone with that one, Ian. I think that's a fair call. And you know what? He was on the ropes, out of competition, and somehow he managed to get to the top 4. You gotta love drifting, right?
Certainly.
And now, and a massive jump and disappear from one of our drivers. That was impressive. He actually tripped over one of the stick. That's what happened there. So yeah, we've got the big old Toyota chaser of Abramov from Russia. He's going to be chasing it. Reese Patterson. He is our defending champion. It's for a space in the top 4. What a good start to the year it would be, a top 4 finish with Patterson to keep that momentum going. But Abramov has looked very strong, and he's definitely come out ahead of the blocks here.
Yeah, he certainly has, Dave. He's hungry for it. Look at this. Goes for the door already as Tatterson fires in. Tatterson, though, not too deep on the outside zone. Looking a little bit scrappy. Gets himself back onto the line into outside zone 2. Tidies it up. No wobbles. But look at this. Abramov not messing around. Shallows up the angle. Starts to find himself into the groove. Nice transition from both guys as Tatterson fires that car on an angle back to the floor. Abramov, though, right with him as across the line they go.
Yeah, Patterson, as you said, initiation, a little bit early out of outer zone 1 for me. Gets out of zone 2 quite nicely. But yeah, a little error. Abramov looking strong. I mean, he looks so consistent in the chase position. He's not making big errors. He's not making too many mistakes. And Patterson giving him plenty to work with, don't get me wrong. But just a little shallow for me here, Abramov. A little shallow on that outer zone. Like right up onto the front wheel. We really want to see that front wheel on the door is the perfect pace. Not so much front wheel to front wheel. But other than that, a very solid effort. I think Patterson's going to again have to, put his authority on this one. He's going to have to go in there and try and maybe intimidate a little bit if that's possible in the virtual world and say, "Look, I'm the champ. I got to take this guy down."
Yeah, I mean, what has Patterson got in the bag? What has he got tricked up his sleeve? Look at this onto the back bump. A lovely job. No contact. Look how close that front wheel is to the door. And this is why Reese Tatterson is your current defending champion. He makes his mark right now, transitions back up onto the door and go. Abramov looks across, and there is nowhere he can go without Reese Tatterson being a part of his business. Tatterson looked to the side once again and absolutely plants himself on the side of that Toyota Chaser.
Wow. I mean, just when you think, a little bit of fender bender at the end of the run. Insurance details will be swapped, I'm sure. Just when you think he's down and out and he makes some errors, back with a masterclass of chasing there. And what I love about Tatterson is he doesn't overcommit on his transitions. He leaves himself, I suppose, an area of he could do a little bit more, but it's enough to win the battle. You know what I mean? That's what you see that from some of the best drivers in the world. They'll give you 90%, and 90% is genuinely good enough. He never really puts himself in a position where he's going to be completely messed up by the lead car, and that's a big talent. And that talent is going to take him through to the top 4, and he goes through to another top 4, and he's looking strong again, Ian. And I'm very impressed with these guys right now, holding their nerve at this stage of the competition. So look, that's it. That's the top 8 over and done with as far as I can see. We are now going to move on to our top 4 in just a few moments' time. If you watched this far, you can't leave now. After these, we are back with the top 4. We're going to decide the podium. We're going to decide who the winner is. We're going to decide who can hold their nerve on the aircraft carrier. Back soon.
LIQUI.EU produce standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Renowned for quality, reliability and value, our easily installed ECUs come with numerous motorsport and engine protection features, giving complete control of your engine's power and performance. Plus, our tech support team are available 24 hours a day to help you create the perfect solution for your engine setup. To see our full range of products and for more information, visit LIQUI.EU.com.
We are back, and we are in the business end of round one of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. If you've been enjoying it so far, you're about to enjoy it a little bit more because every battle counts now. We've got 4 drivers remaining: Zemski, Goonin, Agora, and Patterson. Patterson, the defending champion, and we've got 3 spots on the podium at round one up for grabs. What's up for grabs for the whole championship? Well, that's a chance to compete in the real Drift Masters European Championship. Stay tuned. Dates coming out very soon for the 2022 Drift Masters European Championship. But right now, it doesn't matter because we're on an aircraft carrier and there's 4 boys ready to throw down for that top step. Zemski, been on the ropes a couple of times, but he's still in the competition. It might just be his night. He goes up against Goonin, and Goonin hasn't put many errors in this night. He's looked very strong in that beat score. This is going to be another case of Zemski going to have to go deep into the well and finding that resolve to get past this battle and get into the final. Winner goes to the final, loser goes to the 3rd and 4th place playoff. Here we go.
Here we go, Dave. Goonin looking stronger than ever, and he will be determined to get to the final. Nice initiation, as close as he's been to the wall all night to Zemski. Can he put himself back in that uncomfortable position and get himself a spot in the final? We will await to see. Look at the transition, bumper to bumper from Zemski as he gets himself back up into the mix. Goonin, though, looking for that late transition, nice and snappy into outside zone 5, perfectly timed. But Zemski is right there with him onto the door, tagging him, pushing him across the line. Wow, incredible stuff.
Very, very nice stuff from both of these guys. And I mean, we're at the stage of the competition now where if you've made it from over 100 drivers down into the last 4, you've got to be proving your worth. And I think both of these guys did exactly that in this first run. See Goonin doing a good job. He's got that lead run absolutely dialed. Zemski, that little bump here for me, that little bit of contact, that is an error. It's not a big one. It doesn't affect the lead car too much, but it is an error. Maybe that's enough. That little error might just be enough to put a black mark on his score sheet. He's going to have to try and erase that, or hope Goonin makes a similar mistake on his chase run for a spot in the final. One more run, see who gets it.
We go off line, they go to the lead. Goonin to give chase. Goonin will know of that little error from Zemski. Will not want to make the same mistake himself. Look at that, mirrors the angle nice and deep into outside zone 2 as Zemski puts foot to the floor. Goonin right with him though, shallows up the angle, looks for the transition. They transition very, very early. They get into outside zone 4, nicely done again as they flick their cars on angle into outside zone 5, and Zemski seems to be wild, seems to be throwing that car around, but Goonin is right there with him.
Ooh, I mean, for me, Goonin just looking solid. I mean, he's not making big errors. You watch this through the first corner, he's got incredible proximity here, and I think he gets away without making any contact. Cuts right onto the inside of the course. It's that nice fluid transition. I'd like to see him a little bit closer here. Could have been a little bit closer, making a couple of errors there, maybe. But yeah, hard to say. I mean, Zemski for me has the more proximity, and Goonin for me has the more consistency. The judges are just going to have to try and decide which is more important.
There we go. Decision's in, Dave.
And there you have it. It's Goonin going through to the final. The Russian driver goes through to the final. Impressive stuff. He was one we watched right from the off tonight, Ian. We said we had a little, star beside his name saying he looked impressive. He's now into the final. Will he be joined by Agora, who's been battling, fighting, clawing, smashing his way through the grid? Or will it be the defending champion, Reese Patterson, to join him there in the end? So we're about to find out. I like the run-in. I like the ambition from Agora here. He is definitely not getting left behind here. Here we go.
No, he's certainly not, Dave. He's hungry for it. He wants it. He wants it to be an all-Russian final. Can we see that happen? Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Both guys 90 degrees to the wall on initiation. Agorov just not pushing any errors up onto the side of Tatterson's car. He knows Tatterson is the number 1. He is the current and defending champion. Can Tatterson be taken down? Agorov is going to do everything he can. He finds himself on the inside edge of the circuit, out of that outside zone, mirrors the angle and the line, but just finds himself a little bit too far down for my liking after a perfect chase up to them.
Yeah, the only thing for me on Tatterson is just we come towards the end of the run here. Watch this out of this outer zone right here. He goes in early, out a little bit early as well, and this transition quite a little bit laboured, but he does get it done. And I don't think the judges are going to judge him too harshly for that. And as you said, Agorov gets stuck on the inside of the track. He's almost past the lead car. He's got proximity, but it's not the perfect place to be. I'm looking forward to the second half of this decided. Bit of a weird angle from Agorov off the start line here. He's trying to get a jump on Tatterson, that's for sure.
He certainly is. He's hungry for it as they come down. Look at that Tatson on the back of bumper, though. Going to mirror the angle, try and mirror the initiation, but he doesn't. He shallows up, waits for Agora. Oh, Agora gets himself into the wall. They both make contact with each other. That could be a deciding factor as they transition down up into the wall once again. Agora keeps his foot back to the floor. Tatson waits for the transition, doesn't find himself on the inside edge of the circuit, mirrors the angle, mirrors the proximity, up onto the side. He goes on the back bumper, goes down.
I think, you know what, it's going to come down to mistakes. I think Agora makes the biggest one, taps the wall at outer zone 2. Nice initiation, big four-wheel lock up. Watch this, just takes a little bit too much of a bite out of the cake. Has a wobble there. It affects Patterson a little bit, but he stays in it. Patterson looking a little smoother here in the chase position, and like this last transition from Patterson, very close, very fluid, and he's right there from the start of the zone, not catching up halfway through. So for me, maybe, pendulum a little bit more towards Patterson. Is he going to go to the final? Face Goonin, is that what we're about to see? Or with an upset, Agora, he's going to get himself into the final. He did that with the wall. Yeah, it's as we predicted. It's going to be Patterson continuing his winning streak both in last year's championship and now this year's championship. He's into the final of round 1, and that is a brilliant way to start. He's already a bit of a YouTube star now with his 2 million views, and go check it out on the Driftmaster YouTube channel. An incredible video of him driving Peter Vinesek's 1,000 horsepower pro car. We go to our final B, or semi, or third and fourth place playoff, or small final, whatever you want to call it. It's basically for the last trophy on the podium, the third place trophy, and one of these guys is going to take it home. And unfortunately, one of these guys is going to take home nothing. And these are two guys that are going to bring some fireworks. Ian, capable of mistakes, capable of brilliance, definitely capable of taking home a trophy.
Yeah, they certainly are, Dave. And here we go. Zemski to lead out Egorov now for the third step on the podium. Who can take it through? One going to be an absolute battle till the end. Both guys firing. No one wants to give it up. Look at this now, and nobody wants to give it up. Who was at fault there? Was it Egorov? Was he being too aggressive, or was Zemski on the wrong line? We'll leave that one down to the judges. They both come in hot and heavy once again. Wheel to wheel and outside zone 4. Big transition back as Zemski gets himself deep in outside zone 5, and Egorov stays with him across the line. Aggression 110%.
I've got to look at this first corner again. I think to me it looks like, the wide line.
Oh, yeah.
By Zemski. He's still on throttle. Agorov is just firing in. And I mean, you could say Zemski couldn't be any wider. There was nowhere else to go. So I think Agorov just a little bit too aggressive there, maybe making contact. And I think that is probably going to be the deciding factor of that particular run. But we'll have a look and see what happens when they turn it around. But no shortage of contact tonight anyway, that's for sure.
So here we go, Agorov now to lead out to Zemski, and Zemski will know that he didn't make the error. It was false, maybe, from Agorov. And look at this, Zemski finds himself in the middle of the circuit once again. That's going to affect his proximity. He's going to have to work hard to get back into that groove, back up onto the door. As Zemski now looks for the back bumper, nicely timed transition. They fire down, Agorov into that outside zone. Looks for that transition back into outside zone 5. Agorov goes there. Zemski finds himself shallow. Doesn't quite have the proximity that Agorov had on him. Oh, this one going to be a tough one for the judges.
I think it's going to come down to Agorov's contact on the first corner. Is that enough? Much stronger. And I mean, I'll put it this way: Zemski is getting proximity. He's doing a great job. Maybe not as aggressive, but then maybe not as aggressive. The reason we're in this position in the first place, because Agorov, the big hit on the first corner in his pace run, was Zemski playing it cool from that point on. Very hard to know. It's more of a calculated approach from Zemski, but either way, judges will make a decision. It will be for third step on the podium. Third step on the podium at round 1 of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship. It is on and running, ladies and gentlemen. We have another couple of rounds coming up. Check out the website for all of those dates. But taking third step on the podium is Zemski from Poland. You know what? Goes to show, never give up, never back down. Be a little calculated, be a little clever, and you get yourself a trophy here at the Drift Masters Virtual Championship. Did a great job there. And Agorov, he's going to be fuming. Didn't get a trophy, but he's announced himself onto the championship. We're looking forward to seeing him again. We move on to the final. It's going to be the last runs of the day. It's going to be Goonin, who has been the standout star, let's be honest, all day, going up against Patterson, the defending champion. The best driver, apart from Patterson today, definitely Goonin. This is the right final. I think this is going to be a close one. And Goonin now, I mean, even the worst he can do here is take second place, Ian. So he's going to throw caution to win. He's going to try and take down last year's champ. Here we go.
Certainly is, David. Patterson knows he wants to be back in lead of Insect's car, but this time in competition to show the whole world what he can do. Look at this. Patterson throws it absolutely all he has to the wall as Goonin goes for it. Looks for the side of that S15, backs off, waits for the transition. Now he's going to make that big dive, shallows up the angle. Very clever move from Goonin. Patterson makes the transition into outside zone 5, carrying all the angle in the world. He dials it on. Put to the floor, and Goonin is right with him.
You know what? For me, I think that lead run, Patterson is as good as he's done all day. I mean, it could have been a little wider on outside zone 1. Goonin doing a good job of getting up close. He stays on big angle here. Patterson doing a little bit. He has to wait for that transition pretty late. Gets in on top of it. Gets up nice close to first. A little touch of the wheels here. That is a little bit of an error. And then the late transition from Goonin. He's on the inside of the track, not getting out to that zone, which again, as I said, judges will look at and say, he does back off a little bit with the left foot brake, makes a clever adjustment, but a couple of errors creeping in. Now the time for Patterson to just absolutely blitz this chase run, and that'll take him to top step on the podium. Can he do it though? Easier said than done.
Here we go, Goonin leading them out the last run potentially of the day. Patterson wants it. He wants to still be crowned number 1. Fires that car in almost backwards, mirrors the angle, mirrors the line, mirrors everything that Goonin has got, everything that Goonin can do. Reese Tatson is with him. Look at this early transition. Tatson goes for the door. He wants blood. He wants number 1 spot. Oh, wow. The transition from Tatson is unbelievable as Goonin puts everything, all the heart and soul into that run, but there is nothing he can do. Tatson is right there.
Well, I mean, on that last transition alone, Patterson shows you why he is the current champion, why he's the guy to beat. That was the best transition we've seen all night. And it was incredible as they come into those last 2 outer zones. Patterson, not the best proximity, but watch this on the transition. Eyes up the lead car, bumper to bumper, snap through. And this is where you can see a much cleaner chase here. Even though he kind of drops off a tiny bit at the end, I think Goonin goes a little bit too wide maybe. But do we have a winner? Do the judges have a winner of round 1 of the 2022 Drift Masters Virtual Championship? Who's going to be leading the championship into round 2? Who's going to be getting closer to that opportunity of driving a car in the real world? Drift Masters European Championship later in the year. Well, the judges are having a good debate on it. Do we have a winner? And it looks like we do. The winner of round 1 is Reese Patterson, starting as he finished 2021. He was the champion. He's currently the man to beat. Currently has the trophy in first place. Goonin takes second place. Agora or Zemski takes third place on the podium. What an incredible night of virtual drifting. I really enjoyed that, Ian. Good to be back. Good to be back commentating. Good to be back seeing some competitive virtual drivers aim for the stars, try and relive their dreams. I want to thank all of our sponsors, rentadriftcar.com, VALINO Tires, Budmat, ST Suspension, and Bimerg. And I also want to give a massive thank you to Link Engine Management, sponsor this year of the Drift Masters Virtual Championship. They have been incredible, not only helping drifters all over the world, they're currently got dealers in 75 different countries, and they are the world leaders when it comes to engine management, software and hardware. And I've said, you know what, me and you need a bit of a Link.EU, Ian, just to kind of rewire our brains after that incredible night of drifting. As you can see, a little victory lap right now between Reese Patterson and Goonin. Where's the replay of the final? I'm not sure. I think this is a victory lap. There's a lot more contact in this one. So an incredible finish to an incredible night. Zemski takes third, Goonin takes second, Reese Patterson takes first position. Wow, incredible stuff. So we'll be back with our final conclusions for the round. We're going to obviously be announcing the third, second, first. Guys went a little bit crazy. We'll be back to the studio in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Trophies getting handed out very soon.
LIQUI.EU produce standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Renowned for quality, reliability and value, our easily installed ECUs come with numerous motorsport and engine protection features, giving complete control of your engine's power and performance. Plus, our tech support team are available 24 hours a day to help you create the perfect solution for your engine setup. To see our full range of products and for more information, visit LIQUI.com.
Well, there you have it, guys. Reece Patterson celebrating his victory at round one. Ian, it's been a very, very, very fun time. I mean, from my perspective, we're back with a bang. Reece Patterson, though, business as usual. We had Zemski taking third, Goonin taking second, and it's only the start of the championship. We were on an aircraft carrier. Where are we going to be on the next one? We have no idea. They don't tell us. We're not important enough to know. We just get to arrive and we see some craziness going on. But I love to see it. We have over 100 drivers. I want to give a big thank you to Arcadia Studco and David Callis, who've been, I'd say, getting pretty close to that, something a little stronger than a soft drink at this stage after going through hundreds of runs today, all the way from hundreds down to our winner, Reece Patterson. Great night of drift.
Yeah, incredible night of drifting, Dave, and Reece Patterson. I mean, what do you say? Job done, I guess. And I know I've been reading the comments on YouTube and everyone's saying he is the #1 virtual drifter in the world. And I guess he is. There's no arguing it. You know, you can win the first championship, come back and take round one. Can we see him in that car again in the final round of DMEC? Who knows?
There you go, Ian. As I said, he is the best virtual drifter in the world for now. Will he still be the best virtual drifter in the world when it comes to round two in a couple of weeks' time? We'll see you there from me and Ian and all the crew here at the Drift Masters Virtual Championship. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to LINQ.ECU. Thank you to all of our partners and sponsors. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for commenting. We'll see you guys at the next one.